in the high in the stand there at Easter Road. So if Ian Murray feels that his team, whether he's going to say it publicly or not, has got a real chance, Chris Doolan, Alan, will he be feeling likewise given all those changes to the Hearts lineup, despite what he said earlier on about that Hearts squad?
Yeah, Richard, it has to come here with confidence. You know, his team are, from the end of last season and even the beginning of this in the League Cup, topped their group, so they're on a good bit of form at the moment. Hearts, this team, as I touched on earlier, have never played before, and it's still new to North from Australia. The Fire's making his debut today. Vargas just flew in like a couple of weeks back. You know, so these guys are coming in today and they don't know what to expect, really. So it's a chance for Thistle, very experienced Partick Thistle side here. The draw was made and I'm thinking, I don't want Thistle, because I think Thistle could cause Hearts all sorts of concern. I think this is going to be a really, really interesting game, like Rory over at Easter Road. Yeah. This could go a long way as well. It could go, you know, extra time, etc. But we'll see. The teams are out, both getting their photographs taken at the moment. And I'm really looking forward to this one. It should be an absolute cracker. I've got to say that the Thistle support that's come through is magnificent. All but sold out their end. I think they probably have by the looks of it. So great support for Partick Thistle through here today in Edinburgh. Yeah, that's fantastic. I think most of us probably share Alan's thoughts in the sense that both these games are very similar. Hearts against Partick Thistle, Hibernian against Raith Rovers. Both the championship sides having made very decent starts to the season. And of course these demands, extra demands placed on Hearts and Hibernian with the European ties, only just in ultimately begin to put a pressure on the squad. We'll keep you right across those matches to be kicking off shortly. We've got live commentary to come at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock against Celtic. We can hear from Brendan Rodgers, who's live with Al Lamont.
Thanks, Richard. Yeah, the Celtic manager joins me now, pitch side. Brendan, it strikes me that given the way Kilmarnock have started this season, this is as tough a test probably as you could have got in this round. Would you agree?
Yeah, coming obviously to here, it's never easy, you know, despite sometimes the scoreline might look at that at times, but you always have to work really hard in the games, and like you say, you see Derek's team, how they started here against Rangers and away at Hearts, so yeah, it's going to be a game we have to be really strong in and be defensively good in, but obviously then show our quality when we have the ball.
It's Kilmarnock's 7th game this season, just your 3rd. I was just wondering whether you found the lack of European qualifiers, which you've always had in your previous time here, is that generally speaking still a positive though, not having to have those games as well as your early league games?
Yeah, 100%. We'd rather have the more games as the season goes through. I think it gives us a chance to work, and I don't think it settles down really until the window shuts. That's the reality, because there might be still some players move on, maybe some more players come in, but in the meantime you have to work towards your performance level, building that up and look to get results at the same time.
And talking of players who have come in, Gustav Lagerbielke not long in the door but straight into the team. Obviously he's helped by the fact that he's been mid-season Sweden, so you've got no qualms about putting him straight into your starting 11.
No, he's been playing, so he's up to speed physically and played in games, so he's in a good place. Unfortunate we lost Stephen, whilst that sort of probably made us have to play him. Ideally maybe I wouldn't have played him and just give him a couple of days to settle, but unfortunately Stephen picked up a ligament injury, which was unfortunate just in training, and he'll be out for 3 to 4 months, but so it's a chance for Gustav to come in, and as I said, he's a player that it's a great introduction for him.
And also I think making his first start is Odin Holm. You've obviously liked what you've seen of him so far.
Yeah, been very good in training and the appearances he's had in the first team, so still a very young player, but again he's used to playing on these types of surfaces as well back home, so coming into here it's no big drama for him, but he's been excellent. I think he's a player that's got a big future at the club, technically very good, he's got an edge to his game, and he moves well, gives us that energy, so it's a chance for us to see him under pressure.
And just finally, it's a competition that has served you pretty kindly. I think you won it 3 times previously. The club have won it 6 out of the last 7, so it's clearly imperative you try and keep that up.
Yeah, I think if I go back to my first spell here, and obviously all the records that followed after that, it all started with this competition, and that's why it's such an important competition for us as a football club, because it was the start of an incredible run of victories in a world record treble situation. So I think any competition that Celtic's in, you want to be good in it, and you want to give everything you can to win it. And of course, it's a special one for myself, having been the first trophy that I won as a Celtic manager. So it's very important. We want to get into the next round, but we'll have to earn it.
Thanks, Brendan. We wish you well this afternoon.
Good man. Thank you.
Brendan Rodgers live with Al. We'll hear from Derek McInnes before too long as well. A little bit back in the action from Friday night and yesterday, as 5 sides booked their places in the quarter-final draw. We'll have that live for you at the conclusion of these matches. Already through Aberdeen, Rangers, Ross County in a 7-goal thriller against the Adronians. Livingston are through, and of course St Mirren, fine win for them. What a start to the campaign Stephen Robinson and his team have enjoyed. The action is already up and running at Tynecastle. Alan Preston.
It's been a really good start from Hearts. They've been playing in the Partick Thistle half. Richard the Hole for the opening 3 minutes have just forced a corner. Modelo Fire's getting forward one side, Cochrane on the other. It's great to see Barry Mackay back. He's done well on Thursday night. And young Lowry getting a start, so it's an opportunity for him. But it's been a really good start from Hearts, right on the front foot. Thistle can't get out at the moment.
And that's exactly what they would have wanted, isn't it, given all those changes?
Yeah, it would have been. And they're playing at a tempo which is, Thistle at the moment are struggling to cope with. Everyone back, as you can imagine, in the Thistle box for the corner. They can't get out, and Hearts are just hemming them in just now. But still 0-0, 4 minutes on the clock.
So goalless there, and similar scoreline across the capital at Easter Road, Rory.
Yes, indeed, Richard. Likewise, it's the home side who have started well here. A couple of minutes in, Josh Campbell looked up and saw that run from Martin Boyle. He just hangs on the shoulder of the last defender at times, and Campbell chipped a lovely ball over the top, and Boyle took a funny bounce. He wasn't able to control it as quickly as he would have liked, and he had a shot which was blocked, and from the resultant corner Dabrowski punched well. It's been all Hibs in terms of possession. That's been the only real opportunity, but they look up for this Hibs. I was chatting to Paul Hanlon in the airport in Switzerland on the way home, and he'd said that he understands just how good a side Raith Rovers are, and I think he was letting the guys know who aren't familiar maybe with Scottish football at this point just how tough a game it would be, and no complacency.
So goalless in those matches. Hearts against Partick Thistle, Hibernian against Raith Rovers. We've got the team news from, in fact, did Brendan Rodgers run through there? I'm not sure that he actually did. Al, I think, is just preparing it, so he'll have that ready in about 20 minutes or so. What did you make, Pat, of what Brendan Rodgers had to say? He was making clear the importance of the game.
Yes, he was, and I think this competition, he's absolutely right, has given them momentum to go on and have success every season, and especially if you're in Europe and it's not going quite well for you, having another competition that you're getting the semi-finals, finals and winning it, that just before Christmas almost gets you going, and that has taken maybe the bad look off the European maybe failures at times, and that. So it is an important competition. I think it's an important competition for Celtic because they are the holders. Really sad to hear about young Stephen Welsh, by the way.
Terrible.
Out for now for 3 or 4 months, and I'd high hopes for Stephen under Brendan Rodgers because he likes him. I think he likes the manager also, and he could have now with obviously the injury to Carter, he could have stepped in there and consolidated him, but to get that injury now is a real blow to the young man. But then listen, that's why they've gone to the market again. They've brought in a new player. Will be really interesting to see. That's a new combination centre half, and how then the relationship with the goalkeeper and the midfielders and how that will pan out today. That'll be a really interesting one for us on this pitch also, which is dry. We know it's dry. I was coming down through Fenwick today, and there was a little bit of rain just in the air, and I'm saying I'm sure the Celtic players would love that to come down in bucketfuls, because when it's a dry pitch down here, it does affect the way that you pass, the speed that you pass the ball. And Celtic like to pass the ball off their first, second touch, get the ball away quickly, move it around the pitch and make the opposition work, and if that's hampered in any way whatsoever, it gives Kilmarnock a chance.
Pat Brendan was saying last week about the Aberdeen pitch being long. It's not going to be that problem today. It won't be, that can't grow.
It won't be long, but it'll be sticky, Alan. You know what it's like. And I was just talking to Cammy about it. He played on this pitch down here, and he's had his few injuries. I'm not saying that's the cause of it, but in saying that, I don't know whether players enjoy it. I was asked a couple of weeks ago, what would you change in Scottish football? I'm sorry, but that's one thing that I would change in the top end of Scottish football, to get rid of these artificial pitches. And I'm sure Derek McInnes and the managers and the players would like to be on a grass pitch. And this was brilliant down here, Alan. This was a brilliant pitch.
you are preaching to the converted in terms of Alan Preston. There's no doubt about that. When it comes to you can understand the benefit, and look, there are benefits for top flight clubs as well, Alan, but absolutely down the leagues, it's an important source of revenue as much as anything else.
And it is, and I totally get it. And even with Livingston in the Premiership as well, it's training facilities for them and for some of the younger boys as well. Don't have to fork out. No one's got any money, Richard. It's a real struggle for them. But Kilmarnock was one of the best pitches in Scotland. It was magnificent.
It was marvellous, Alan. I played on that as an apprentice. I did my apprenticeship there 16 to 18. I used to love when I was picked to play in the reserves on a Monday night, because you were playing on a bowling green. It was really, really good to play on. The groundsman there, Gal, as well, who I know well, he's very good at his job and things, and I think it was a source of frustration for him as well, because he kept that pitch, as you say, Alan, pristine.
They had an air system under it as well, for a period of time when it was pouring the rain. This air system used to dry it up. It was brilliant.
It was a brilliant pitch. I know Billy Bowie is obviously I think they've purchased a piece of land to try and get a training ground together, and I think that's whole part of the plan, that they will go back to grass eventually here at Rugby Park, and it would be great to see that if they get a training pitch in place. But again,
I think that's too far away.
I think you're right, Alan, which is great, because I know that the guys behind the scenes have really developed this stadium, the infrastructure of the club as well. It's really going forward, so if they can get a grass pitch back here, I think it would benefit everyone.
Cammy was actually talking about a new system we would love to see in here, where water would come from underneath the pitch to come up and keep it damp.
No, my idea was, listen, it was always going through my head that I've played on many AstroTurfs where they can water as much as they want. See, there's a bit of wind, within 10 minutes the pitch is absolutely bone dry. And I always thought, do you know what, if there was a moisture system underneath, and if it just came through and it kept the pitch a lot slicker,
it's one for Dragon's Den, Cammy.
I was going to say, is this something that you have done
got the money to invest in this?
Scientific research into? Well, I mean, if it's going to be ripped up and a grass pitch put down, I guess they probably won't be looking to do that. But you can understand the benefits of having that kind of scenario. In terms of well, Al, you do have the team news ready, don't you?
Yes, I've had it ready for some time, Richard.
I was just going by the
disparaging comments.
The producer suggested that you were struggling to get your thoughts together.
Having to juggle putting my teams together as well as doing the interviews, making
they're asking too much of you.
Stuff like that.
It's an onerous task they have bestowed upon you this afternoon.
Goal!
Oh, there's a goal
for the home side. It's an own goal off Brian Graham. It's a corner flicked on by Rowells just into the 6-yard box. And for me, it hits Brian Graham on the shin and goes into the back of the net from about 2 yards out. 10 minutes on the clock. Hearts 1, Partick Thistle 0.
Well, it's exactly the start Hearts would have been hoping for. And by all accounts, Alan, your reports earlier, it's perhaps a goal that's been coming.
It has been, Richard. Yeah, Thistle have not been in the Hearts half at all so far in that opening 10 minutes. It's been really slick from Hearts, going from side to side, passing the ball quick. Fullbacks getting forward, Mackay on it, Lowry on it as much as they can, Shanklin playing lovely little 1-2s. It's been all Hearts, and that goal they deserve. It's flicked on, just watching it on the big screen. Yeah, own goal by Brian Graham, I'm afraid.
So the big man puts it into his own net early in that one, but Hearts already with the advantage. Hibernian and Wraith still goalless, Rory?
Yes, it is. Hibernian have had next to nearly all of the possession, to be honest, but Wraith Rovers just feeling their way in. They've not looked particularly dangerous since that chance I spoke about Hibs. It's one of these ties as a lower league club. You're coming to a stadium like this, you want to feel your way in, you want to get to 20-30 minutes, you want your confidence to grow, you want to do the basic things right to start with, and we're only just starting to see that now. They've weathered the early storm and the game's evened itself out a little bit. Not too much report since you were last with me.
Goalless it is. We'll keep you right across both those matches, and remember, Hearts with the early advantages, they look to get their name into the draw for the quarterfinals. We'll bring you that live a little bit later in the day. Okay, Al, team news.
Yes, here we go. Kilmarnock, very straightforward, same team again, as has served them so well at the start of this league season. So it's Will Dennis in goal, the back three of Lewis Mayo, Robbie Dees and Stuart Finlay. The wing backs, who might end up being more like full backs this afternoon, Danny Armstrong and Corian Daba. In the midfield, it's Brad Lyons, David Watson and Kyle McGuinness, with Matty Kennedy and Marley Watkins up front. On the bench for them, it's O'Hara as the sub-keeper, Wright, McKenzie, Vassell, Murray, Davies, Donnelly, Wales and Polworth. For Celtic, as I did discuss there with Brendan Rodgers, there's a couple of changes with the injury to Cameron Carter-Vickers from last weekend. and David Turnbull is also dropping out of the starting 11. He's on the bench, and in come for their first starts and certainly for his debut is Gustav Lagerbielke, just signed from the Swedish league leaders Elfsborg. He's straight in at centre back, and Odin Holm comes in for, as I say, his first start in place of Turnbull. So that means it's Joe Hart in goal, back four of Anthony Ralston, Gustav Lagerbielke, Mike Nawrocki and Greg Taylor. In the midfield, Callum McGregor, Matt O'Reilly and Odin Holm. On the flanks, Leila Bada and Daisen Maeda, and Kyogo through the middle as usual. On the bench for them, it's Bain, Scales, Haksabanovic, Yang, Turnbull, Kwon, Iwata, Bernabe and Forrest. The referees Alan Muir, and the VAR's Don Robertson.
The SWPL action already up and running into the second half. Hibernian 4-0 up against Montrose Ladies. Joelle Murray, Tegan Bowie, Maya Christie and Naomi Powell all on target in the first half. Glasgow City, the champions, 2-0 up going into the second half against Partick Thistle. Hayley Lauder and Amy Muir both scoring. And Celtic have taken an early grip of their match against Hamilton. 2 goals in the space of 60 seconds in the 5th and 6th minutes from Catherine Lefersky and Amy Gallagher. 2-0 Celtic against Hamilton. Hearts against Dundee United at 3. Motherwell Spartans at 4. Rangers against Aberdeen at 4:10. In the ViaPlay Cup second round, Hearts 1, Partick Thistle 0, Hibernian 0, Wraith Rovers 0. The latest scorelines. And of course, if you did miss it, the Women's World Cup final went ahead earlier on today. It was an 11 o'clock kickoff. The game lasted about 4.5 hours. 13 minutes stoppage time. I've never seen quite as much in the terms of the number of the board that was put out. Astonishing.
And then they played 15 in the end.
Yeah,
In the end,
but it was Olga Carmona who got the only goal in the 29th minute. There was a missed penalty as well for Spain. The bits I saw, the Spaniards looked to be very, very good indeed.
Deserve to win.
You watched it, Alan, did you?
I did, yeah. They deserve to win. The Spaniards, England didn't play as well as they can, and it'll be a big disappointment south of the border, but thankfully we don't have to hear about it for the next 60 years.
Alan, Spain was very good technically, weren't they?
They were excellent. It's a brilliant goal, Pat. I don't know if you've seen the goal.
Yeah,
and Ian Wright actually spoke about it. I was watching the coverage and he was saying he was worried about overlaps in the wider area, and it was perfect. The full-back gets forward, lovely
Great
overlap
finish.
and a great finish across, giving the keeper absolutely. Who's brilliant. The England goalie's magnificent.
Yeah, she was brilliant throughout the whole tournament.
Given the channel you were watching it on, we'll see if ITV can give you a job on a Saturday afternoon reporting on Scottish football matches.
No, Richard. I wasn't in charge of the television. It wasn't me.
Okay.
You wouldn't get it. You wouldn't get on, Alan.
Okay. Anyway, Spain are the world champions for the first time. Lots of ViaPlay Cup action to come. We've got the team news there from Al Kilmarnock against Celtic. Yeah, I think you got through everything, didn't you, Al, before you were rudely interrupted by everything that is going on across the country this afternoon. I mean, it's when you're winning games and playing well, Cammy, and everyone's fit. In fact, I see on the screen ahead of me that John McGinn has just opened the scoring for Aston Villa against Everton. The Scotland international team talisman, captain, of course, of Villa. I know he, having struggled a bit or being under a bit of pressure, he certainly got things going again in the second half of last season at Villa, and he is celebrating fiercely the goal that has given Aston Villa the advantage against Everton.
What a reception he'll get at Easter Road. Absolutely brilliant. They love him.
That's just from the McGinn family.
It's just a pure loving with him, with the Hibs fans. They absolutely adore him, and rightly so. He's been brilliant for Hibs, and they're still hoping that he gets sold though, so they get the sell on.
Yeah.
Alan, did you see the added time at Portsmouth yesterday? 21 minutes.
No.
Well, there were two. The linesman was injured and was replaced.
They replaced him with a guy out the crowd.
Yes, the replacement then got injured, so they replaced him with a guy out the crowd. So I'm looking and going 21 minutes, and it was 0-0. I didn't realise that they had a fan who was in his trainers and his shorts, had to go in and get suited, dressed up and run the line.
Wow.
Back to the good old days, eh?
Absolutely.
That's just it.
Wow. Okay, that's got to be a record. 21 minutes. That has got to be the record, surely.
Richard, the good thing about, just looking at the early start down south, the good thing is we don't monopolise bad decisions on VAR. When you seen that Wolves one on Monday night against Man United,
absolutely
that is shocking. I just didn't get it. And then even the Man United manager coming out and saying, "Oh, it's not a penalty." What are you watching?
I mean, it was common assault, essentially.
He got nowhere
Then he
near the
wanted
ball.
a penalty yesterday against Spurs.
Yeah.
That was the first thing he mentioned.
There's been new rules around the VAR down there, though, isn't there?
Yeah, well, the handball certainly. I think you're still not allowed to assault opponents, but generally speaking, unless it would appear you're wearing a Man United shirt.
But are they allowing the referees to make decisions now and almost carry on as such? Is that the change that they've made down there? Because they're not interrupting.
I mean,
they're not getting involved in the situation.
No, I mean, they certainly talked about trying not to be re-refereeing the game by VAR all the time, and I think maybe there is a little bit more responsibility.
Do you know what I liked, Pat, in the Women's World Cup was the referee coming out and explaining the decisions.
Yes.
I thought that was great.
And she's mic'd up, so around the stadium they can hear the announcement. Yeah.
Because
I think there was one, Alan, that got it wrong. She actually came out, and because of language error, she actually said the opposite of what she was due to say, and she had to change it. That may cause a few problems, I think, in a game if they continue with that and the normal course of action.
I just thought it was really
good. It was good, Alan. I heard it on the radio on the way in. See, when the penalty decision came in, you heard it in the anticipation and stuff, and then you heard the announcement on the radio that they were putting over the tannoy at the stadium. So, certainly from a listener's experience as well, I thought it added to it.
Yeah, brilliant. So they should look at that. That's something else they need to look at.
Raith Rovers carving a couple of chances, by the way. Callum Smith from a poor Paul Hanlon back pass nearly got in, but David Marshall was out to smother, and it was a really poor pass from Josh Mullen. See if he'd just taken his time, he could have played Callum Smith on one-on-one, a great opportunity, but he overhit the pass and the chance went. Raith Rovers going into this one, but it's still 0-0.
So goalless there, 1-0 Hearts. It was a Brian Graham own goal in the 11th minute, which separates the sides. We've got the team news in for Kilmarnock against Celtic, and Cammy, and I think we quite got to you, but in terms of that Kilmarnock line-up, Derek McInnes obviously very happy. It's great, isn't it, as a manager, you can get that settled line-up up if you're getting the kind of results that warrant it.
Yeah, definitely, and we know Derek McInnes well enough in Scottish football that he likes to stick with a winning team. He doesn't tinker with it too much if these teams are winning games and putting performances in. So wasn't surprised that there wasn't any changes from the good result over in Tynecastle last week. Again, listen, they've started the season so well. They've brought in a number of players that I think have enhanced their team and that will take them to the next level. I think Robbie Dees is a really good signing at the back. Listen, I've seen a lot of them at Inverness last season. Very strong player, really composed on the ball as well. So he's been a really good signing. Matty Kennedy, bringing him back. If they can get Matty Kennedy back up to the levels that he can reach, then that's a real sort of force going forward with him on one side and Danny Armstrong as well, who was fantastic last season. And then you look at their bench today, I think they've got quite a strong bench. They've got Vassell on the bench, obviously come back from injury. Rory McKenzie, you've got Joe Wright, Fraser Murray, so they've got a good squad. Polworth as well, so they've got players that they can bring on if it isn't working for them today. But I expect them to give Celtic a really, really tough match here.
Just watching an incident, we were talking about that incident in the Manchester United Wolves game when the Man U goalie wiped out an opponent and was allowed to carry on. There was no penalty. It's not exactly the same, but there has been an incident there where Pickford has come out and he has caught.
Not
is it Ollie
surprised.
Watkins? Yeah, I know you're not a huge fan. And the penalty has been awarded. It's not the same in the sense they didn't crash into him, but he's certainly come out and he's missed the ball and he's caught him, and he has been penalised in the way that the Manchester United goalkeeper wasn't. Pat, in terms of that Celtic line-up, a few new faces in there from the start.
Yeah, and of course in that centre-back positions, those are the new ones that's in that has to build that relationship. And I thought he might have changed the goalkeeper. I did mention at the start of the programme that he may have changed just to see what the other goalkeepers can do, especially Siegrist, who just to see if there's another goalkeeper that he would even think about. But then I discussed it with Cammy, and then Joe Hart's such a big personality. He makes the big saves at the right time, and I think you've got to keep him as a leader in the dressing room. And if you take him out of the team, you're just affecting his confidence. So that's probably what he's saying to himself. I'm going to go with Joe. I'm going to stick with him, even though he might struggle a little bit on the way that I want to play. The more he plays, the more he'll grow into it. Joe's playing definitely has to play a little bit deeper and almost towards the 6-yard box now, and that's a lot more risk, as we talked about last week against Aberdeen, where he gets the ball even from the goal kicks is slightly different, and that's maybe not what Joe's probably top end is all about. It's the big saves that Joe makes when you're under pressure, and he comes up with a big one and keeps you in the game. That's his forte. But he is such an important personality, and he's done remarkably well for Celtic.
Do you believe there is then still, because let's be honest, the role for a lot of managers, the role of the goalkeeper in the modern game is a little bit different. It's not just about making the saves anymore, isn't it? They do have to contribute. We've seen that with various goalkeepers that have come to the fore and have impressed in terms of how comfortable they are with the ball and rolling it out and helping to build up the attack. And that's essentially what Brendan Rodgers, he wants a goalkeeper who can save it, but he wants that as well, doesn't he? Is Joe Hart likely to be under any pressure at all?
Well, we'll see how he performs in that, and actually in those situations. That's you only can put the goalkeeper in and see how he can handle it. It was an interesting discussion last week. I was listening to Monday Night Football, and the guys they were talking about Onana, compared to De Gea. And what he gives the team at Man United, and how he performs, especially with the back pass, and very, very, very confidently. He's obviously played at Ajax, so he came through that system. But he never actually talked about the other players that gives the opportunity to the goalkeeper. And I think that's a crucial part of it. If I go back to, who am I talking to? Buffon, for example. I know maybe the younger generation has forgotten about Buffon, but he was a guy who had to adapt throughout his career and almost get to a point later when he was nearly 40 years old that he could go in and play, and he did it so well. But the players around him give him so many opportunities. They drop him back almost onto the byline, and all he had to do is to roll it to them. They would open out, they would play the fullback, they would play it almost first time up to the striker. But you've got to work on this. You've got to work on the pitch. And I think Brendan, go back to his days with Craig Gordon, for example, when he came in. Cammy wants to come in on this because he's a younger goalkeeper than I didn't have to play with my feet. Cammy had to.
No, listen, I think Joe Hart's a fantastic goalkeeper. I think he's got, as Patty said there, listen, his character, the big saves he makes. When you're at Celtic Football Club and you play in these big European games, big cup ties, you need to make big saves, and Rangers had that in Alan McGregor, and they'll be hoping that Butland comes in and does the same. But for me, I just sometimes think, listen, the grass isn't always greener. It wasn't so long ago they signed a goalie for a lot of money and it didn't work out. He couldn't save any shots. No. Barkas was really, really poor, couldn't handle the pressure, didn't make the saves, never mind passing out from the back. And I just think that some Celtic fans or other people the grass isn't always green on the other side. I think Joe Hart brings so much to this team. I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper and can adapt. I'm not saying he's strongest thing is playing from the back and using his feet, but he can do it, and he can probably still get better at it with a bit of coaching and working on it.
Yeah, I think you're right, Cam. I think they will work on that. I think Brendan Rodgers will absolutely go out, whether Stevie Woods gets involved in that and the other coaches, but certainly that's what you've got to because Brendan will demand more risk at the back.
Listen,
absolutely.
Everyone watches the telly. I was watching the Man City game last night, and Ederson's the one that you look at. He can make the big saves, and he's unbelievable with his feet, and that's what everyone wants. But listen, that's the top goalie, one of the top goalies in the world, and I'm afraid that Celtic can attract that type of goalkeeper at the moment. But he's phenomenal.
The point on that is that Ederson doesn't always play out through his centre half.
He hit one massive diagonal, magnificent pass.
His range of passing is incredible.
And that's what you want. And I think the lesson for all young goalkeepers, whether you rear your own or you buy somebody in, is the future's going to be goalkeepers with absolutely 2 feet. And it has to start when they're young, but they've got to have a range of techniques and a range of passing, but it also has to go into the game. It can't be done in isolation. You've got to build a technique and then bring it into the game so they make good decisions. Ederson makes all the right decisions. He's always looking, he understands the game, and the rest of the players then give him the options.
Aston Villa incidentally now 2-0 up against Everton. Douglas Luiz from the penalty spot, scoring from that award that we touched on a little bit earlier. John McGinn with a first, and it's already looking like it's a long way back for Everton in this one, but potentially a very, very challenging season ahead for a team that has barely, I think they signed 2 players over the summer. Certainly Ashley Young has landed up there but it's been a torture for quite a while, I think, for Everton, and trailing 2-0 to Aston Villa this afternoon. In the SWPL, it's still 2-0 for Glasgow City away to Partick Thistle. Hibernian 4-1 up against Montrose Ladies. Now 3-0 Celtic against Hamilton. ViaPlay Cup, of course. 3 o'clock kick-off. It is at Rugby Park, where Kilmarnock plays Celtic. Full live commentary to come from that one. We're right across those 2 other matches at Easter Road and at Tynecastle.
Richard, we've just been overtaken here by the mascot of Kilmarnock, right up in the back of the stand. The squirrel is up here on top of us.
Right.
I've never seen the mascot up so high in the stand before.
Okay. I think we probably need pictorial evidence of whatever the hell you two are getting up to.
You just come up to say hello to Cammy, of course.
With you two and a giant squirrel. It's a menage a trois no one wants to think about. Anyway, let's hear from Derek McInnes with Al.
Derek, I guess this is as tough a task as you could probably face at this stage of the competition. Nonetheless, given the way you started the season, I guess you come into this in as good fettle as you probably could be.
Yeah, I think after winning the group, you pull out Celtic in the hat. It could have been more difficult. I think the Celtic part, an away game, might have been more of a challenge, but we're thankful we're at home, and we've got the opportunity, as you say, to go and try and win a cup tie. You know, I think we take the confidence really from our home form throughout since we've been here. The players are confident at home, and we're trying to address that form and away from home. But I think having beaten Rangers here already this season, having to do so much right in the game, I think there's similarities in what we need to try and implement today. Celtic offer a different challenge in terms of, I think, their attacking threats and their pace over the top, their willingness to attack the space in behind. We need to make sure that we are ready for that and switched onto it. But hopefully, as I say, we can cause Celtic problems at the same time and try and win a cup tie. Basically, that's what it is. A different competition, different opponent, but there's similar things required that beat Rangers to try and win this cup tie.
Yeah, you spoke prior to the Rangers game about trying to get the monkey of not having beaten the Old Firm last season off your back, and of course you did that very swiftly. Psychologically, has that really helped the players now that they know, Celtic probably are at a different level, but they know they can beat a top team like Rangers? Yeah,
I think it should. I think the fact we've had 2 tough opponents, 2 clean sheets, 1 shot on target out of the 2 games from the opponent, I think all that plays into it. I think the players are in a good frame of mind getting into the game. It's a different game, of course, and I think Celtic, as I say, do offer different challenges in the forward areas and the 2 teams have played. But we've got to try and negate that and deal with that as best we can, which I'm hoping we can. But certainly from our perspective, the players are in a good frame of mind. The fact that we've named the same team for the 3rd week in a row suggests that I'm pleased with what I'm getting, and hopefully we can be pleased after today's game as well.
Celtic, as you'll have seen, have got a debutant in at centre-back and another new signing alongside him at centre-back. Is that something you would speak to the likes of Marley Watkins about and just say, look, these 2 new guys, they're obviously not a settled partnership. Can you go and rumble them up a wee bit, make life uncomfortable for them? Yeah,
well, I think we always mention our opponents at the team meeting on a Friday. We go through what team we think is going to play, and the team picked today, we were 1 out. We thought Turnbull might have played instead of home, but that was the team that we thought would play, and I think we've got to kind of make reference to it. But at the same time, these lads are, although they're just into the club at Celtic have paid a few £1 million for each of them, and you don't arrive at a club at Celtic without being a good player. But at the same token, when you arrive at a bigger club, there's sometimes that settling in period, and it's important for us to try and make it as uncomfortable for all the Celtic players today, and hopefully we can. I think it's important that we impose ourselves in the game, don't be cowed, don't feel second best, and just go and try and ask the question of them. We know Celtic are littered with good players, and we know we'll have to suffer at times. We're out of possession, we'll need to be spot on, but I do feel that we can cause them problems, and hopefully that can be the case.
Thanks, Derek. Good luck this afternoon. Cheers.
Derek McInnes with Al Lamont. We've heard from both managers ahead of that game now. It is Kilmarnock against Celtic. It's a 3 o'clock kick-off. We'll chat more with Pat Bonner and Cammy Bell, and we'll have live commentary with those 2 and Al Lamont. There are 2 games, of course, bubbling away in the second round of the ViaPlay Cup. They both kicked off at 2 o'clock in the capital. To Rory Loy, first of all. Easter Road, Hibernian against Raith Rovers.
Yes, indeed. Raith Rovers, for the last 15 minutes after a bright start from Hibs, have been considerably the better team. Some better choices and decision making in the final third would have carved open some much better opportunities than they have had. Hibs' biggest threat is coming down the right hand side. Eliuhan's movement is causing Liam Dick all sorts of trouble when he's been played in a few times and hit the byline, and crosses have caused a little bit of chaos in the Raith Rovers box, but they've not led to a goal at this point. Must say, the right back Megwa, who's 19 years old for Hibs today, I don't know if it's something Ian Murray obviously knew was going to happen before the game, but Lewis Vaughan normally plays through the middle more centrally, very good technical player. He keeps pulling out to the left hand side. He's got Megwa booked already with a good bit of skill, and he's given him a really tough time, so he is. So very even contest so far over the piece. Hibs started well. Raith Rovers much better team in the last 10-15 minutes, so it's very much game on, but it's 0-0.
So it is goalless there, still finely poised in terms of the narrow scoreline at Tynecastle, but Alan, the Premiership side with the advantage.
Yeah, Hearts won up with that own goal through Brian Graham early on in the game, Richard. We've got a crowd here of 12,841 that for 30 or 25 minutes anyway we're watching waves of attack from Hearts, but Thistle in the last 5-6 minutes come back into it. Milne on the left hand side getting forward, whipping crosses across the box, just no takers for part of Thistle. Slowly but surely they're coming into the game. I think if Hearts got a second, it's a long way back for them, because they've got total dominance of possession at the moment. So we're into the 34th minute, Richard, where it's 1-0 to Hearts.
Hearts with the advantage and edging towards half-time. SWPL 1, Celtic already 4-0 up against Hamilton, just half an hour played. Lafersky, I mentioned earlier on, Amy Gallagher got the second goal within seconds. She scored again on the half-hour mark, and Chloe Craig scored from the penalty spot, so a very convincing win, it would appear, coming up, and that's less than 1.5 matches played this season, and that's a goal difference already of 13-0 that Celtic
they won
have.
9-0 last week.
Yes. I think we'll probably manage to do the arithmetic there, Alan.
No, I know, Richard, but honestly,
I know. Like the three of them, well, certainly Glasgow City, Celtic look stronger, Rangers as well, of course. There's a big gap. Hibernian though 4-1 up against Montrose. Partick Thistle 0, Glasgow City 2. Glasgow City taking a grip of that game in the first half through Lauder and Muir, and they are clearly heading for 2 wins out of 2 as well. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep you up to date with those SWPL scorelines. The ViaPlay Cup, Hearts 1, Partick Thistle 0, Hibernian 0, Raith Rovers 0, and to come, Kilmarnock against Celtic. So Cammy, we heard from Derek there, and still talking with pride, understandably so, given his team's performance in the victory against Rangers, following that up with a draw at Tynecastle, and talking just about what it would mean to him, to the club, to put another impressive scoreline up.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's an opportunity for these Kilmarnock players. The pressure's on Celtic. Everyone expects Celtic to get over the line here. They know it's probably going to be a difficult one. So what Derek McInnes said as well, I think he's trying to make this game as uncomfortable for Celtic as possible. This pitch plays a part in that, but it's the way that Kilmarnock set up. They set up a counter-attacking system. They press them really hard. Listen, there's all these factors in it, but the Kilmarnock players just need to perform on the day. If they perform, this will be a close game, because they've started well, they've got confidence, they've got good players as well. I think they really have, as I touched on it before, have improved their squad this season. Derek McInnes has made some signings that he knows, guys, he knows exactly what they'll get out of them. Marley Watkins is going to be a big one. There's two, obviously it's a new defensive partnership for Celtic today, so it's important that he puts them under a lot of pressure, makes it really uncomfortable, and sees what they're all about, because that's a position that I think Kilmarnock can look at. We won't be completely sound today, I don't think, Celtic within that partnership, so Kilmarnock need to try and take advantage of that today.
Kyle Vassell, I know, coming back from injury, he could have a part to play as well.
Yeah, listen, he's a big player for Kilmarnock. Obviously he's coming back from injury, and Kilmarnock have started the season so well, so Derek's stuck with the same team, but he's a brilliant sub to have on the bench, and a guy that's so influential when he gets on the pitch. He makes it really difficult for for defenders. I've not really seen any defender have an easy ride against Kyle Vassell. Probably the best one I've seen play against him was Cameron Carter-Vickers. I think he's handled him pretty well, but he's a very strong defender within himself. But very few defenders in this league have handled him to their maximum ability. So he's a big player and could play a big part in this afternoon if he comes on here.
Yeah, he could yet have a contribution to make. It is Watkins and Kennedy. There's a lot of pace, there's some guile there, Pat. Do you think they can test Lagerbielke and Nawrocki, the new central defensive pairing?
Yeah, listen, if they get the ball into the right areas, there's no doubt about that, with pace and with maybe a bit of power in the box, that's for sure. It'll be a test for Nawrocki and Lagerbielke to see if they can handle it, because they'll be new to this environment also, to the pitch, everything that goes with it, and the sun's out and it's glaring down, and they haven't had a chance maybe to build relationships with the goalkeeper and the midfielders and so on. It'll be really interesting. Where I'm interested today is that if Derek sets up, but obviously he's got his back three, will he go with a two up front? Will he go with two pressing high up against them and not let them dominate the game from the back? And if they do that, then how will they handle the wide areas? Will they get Daniel Armstrong into forward positions, or will he be pinned back? Obviously Celtic have got their two wingers who they're playing what, normally you would make go to one winger and more a midfielder in that way there, but he's gone and he stayed with the two wingers, and that's where they like to play, out wide Maeda to start, out wide Abada. That pins the wing backs almost back, and then Greg Taylor and Tony Ralston will come into the game. So how does Kilmarnock handle that and those wide areas? It just stretches the midfield a little bit too. And of course we know that last week, watched Celtic against Aberdeen, you were there, and David Turnbull didn't really get into the game early on because Celtic couldn't almost dominate that midfield. Aberdeen were up against them, they were putting them under pressure, they were winning the ball back, and it was only when Hatate came on and started almost controlling the game that they actually got joy in that midfield area. So it'll be interesting to see how all that pans out today and how Kilmarnock will go ahead. They'll have analysed the game that Aberdeen played. They will be watching how they got success against Celtic early on in the game. They'll be also watching the Ross County game and how they got success, and will they take a leaf out of that? But they need to stay in this game, Kilmarnock, if they've got a chance. It's a different type of game again than they played against Rangers. Celtic are good on the ball, they dominate the game. If they're pinned back, they will eventually make chances.
I think we're being distracted by the music in the background. Has Cammy got his iPod up against the
squirrel
microphone?
Is gone. That's what I'm saying.
I'm glad the squirrel is gone. Just you're talking about Kilmarnock. Obviously, not only will they have studied how the opposition have played Celtic, they'll study how Celtic have been playing against them. They'll also be linked to draw on the performance they put in against Rangers. But there was a lot of plaudits for Aberdeen last week, and I mean, Barry Robson called them outstanding, didn't he? In the
I think he was a bit
aftermath of that. Outstanding and unbelievably good.
Especially in the second half, when I thought Celtic actually dominated the first 20 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is that Celtic, without ever getting out of second gear very often, still won at Pittodrie very comfortably indeed. So while Kilmarnock have every right to be confident given their start to the campaign, this is not going to be something that is going to overly concern that Celtic team, is it? No. Just in the sense that they have such self-belief.
Yeah, and listen, they're all good technical players. It's a bit of mentality when you come to this pitch, more so. If you go about your business, you get on the ball, you pass it, you've got to play it to feet at times, and they'll do that, as I said, off the first, second touch, and they're all technically very, very good, and they will push you back no matter how much you want to press them high up the pitch. If Celtic dominate the ball, you eventually have got to go back that 10 yards and get pinned back on the edge of your box, and then Celtic become really dangerous and it's about controlling the game. I think under Brendan Rodgers also, they would like to control the game a bit more, Richard. It's not as gung-ho, get the ball every time they're attacking. They want to almost just keep the opposition working and finding little spaces and understanding that you create space and you exploit space by passing the ball and movement.
Kilmarnock against Celtic. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Full live commentary to come here on Sportsound. It could be a really, really intriguing contest. These sides battling it out for a place in the quarterfinals. The draw to come later, and once the matches in the capital have reached half-time, we'll have a quick look back on all the action that's already taken place in this second round of the ViaPlay. It always seems a bit bizarre talking about the second round and teams battling out for a place in the quarterfinals, but that's just the way the tournament is structured these days. Already, as I mentioned, Aberdeen, the Rangers, Ross County, Livingston and St Mirren through. Chris Doolan, that was, he said in his pre-match interview, no upsets so far, and at the moment nothing looking like unfolding overly this afternoon. Hearts still, Alan, in charge against Partick Thistle.
They are, Richard, and they're starting to ramp up again. Barry Mackay to the byline there, pulls it back to Alex Lowry, tries to bend it in the far corner. Good defending by Muirhead in the end. He gets a block on it and it's away, but again the pressure's just mounting. Thistle just kicking it away and Hearts are coming at them time and time again. 42 minutes on the clock. Still that own goal from Brian Graham early on in the game's the difference.
So just moving towards the interval there, same story across the city at Easter Road, but it's goalless, Hibernian against Wraith Rovers.
Yes, it is, Richard. The game's become a little bit bitty, a little bit scrappy. There was good quality on show from both sides in spells throughout the first half, but since you were last with me, it's been a bit of a midfield battle. A real lack of quality in the final third from both teams. You know, the middle to the first and second thirds of the pitch, they've been good. They've manipulated the ball well, they've played it out wide, but then when it comes to playing that final pass or that killer ball or that cross, it's been really lacking in quality at times. But look, Ian Murray will be absolutely delighted. They've dominated large periods of the game in terms of having good possession high up the pitch. Lee Johnson screaming at his back four at times to get up. You know, Ellie Johan's blown hot and cold at times, as he often does. Martin Boyle's not been effective in the game, which Ian Murray will be delighted with, because obviously he's a massive player for Hibs. But like I said, since you were last with me, there's not been a great deal of chances. There's been good opportunities to create chances, none of them executed, and not a lot of goal-mouth action at all, and it's still 0-0, Richard.
Glasgow City have been 3-0 up against Partick Thistle. Lauren Davidson from the penalty spots, and Hamilton have got a goal back. Josephine Giard just shortly before half-time. So Celtic 4, Hamilton 1. Full-time from earlier. Still going also. Hibernian 4, Montrose Ladies 1. So at the moment looking like comprehensive wins for the three sides in front. Hearts, Dundee United, Motherwell Spartans, Rangers, Aberdeen still to come. Spain are the women's world champions. They beat England by 1-0 in the final earlier today. Olga Carmena with a goal in the 29th minute. So congratulations to the Spanish women for that achievement. We are moving towards half-time and then ultimately moving towards full live commentary from Rugby Park. Kilmarnock against Celtic. The team news, if you did miss it, in terms of Kilmarnock, they've gone with that unchanged lineup. Again, some really strong team and individual performances so far this campaign, as they have come through unbeaten in this competition and in the first couple of league matches. Celtic, a new look, central defensive partnership at Lagerbielke and Nawrocki at the heart of the back line, just ahead of Joe Hart, and with Ralston and Taylor either side of them. Alan.
It's almost 2-0. Brilliant play from Cochrane into Lowry. He plays it across, it beats the keeper, but I think it's at the back post. I think Williams is coming in and boots it away for another corner. Almost 2-0 to Hearts, almost, and just about the stroke of half time. 45th minute, the corner to Hearts as it comes in. Head up. Goal. That's a goal, yeah, off the underside of the bar, and it's a new signing, Odell Fire. It's headed at home from the 6-yard box, in off the underside. Thistle didn't think it had gone in. Linesman on the far side says, yeah, Douglas Ross, that's a goal. 2-0 to Hearts, perfect timing for them.
Well, what a debut for... He's on loan from Brighton, isn't he?
Yes, he has. Signed a new deal at Brighton and then came up on Thursday night.
Excellent. Well, great debut, great start for him, and Hearts look to be in a very strong position. Made 6 changes. Among them, Ofaya in for his debut, and he has scored as he's made his first start. And given Hearts a very commanding scoreline, it would appear to take into the interval. The game at Villa Park, Aston Villa 2-0 up against Everton. 9 minutes of stoppage time have been signalled in that one. Hopefully Alan...
Is that it?
Hopefully Alan and Rory won't have anything similar in them. To be fair...
Okay, three minutes here, Richard, but we're nearly at the end of it.
That's not bad. To be
That's
fair,
a half-time whistle at Tynecastle, Richard. Great timing for Hearts. Poor for Chris Doolan and his side. It's going to be a long way back for them now. They're 2-0 down at half-time.
Yeah, brilliant conclusion to the first 45 minutes. Hearts 2, Partick Thistle 0. We'll get Alan to just sum up the first 45 minutes, and we'll get Rory to do likewise with that game at Easter Road. Hibernian Wraith Rovers heading towards half-time. They're deep into stoppage time. It's 0-0 in that one, and then we can complete the build-up to Kilmarnock against Celtic. Later we'll get reaction from those two games at Tynecastle and at Easter Road. Certainly Hearts in a strong position, but Hibernian Wraith Rovers, that could yet go all the way, and given the demands of European football, Hibernian
that's
probably...
half time, Richard. 0-0.
Thanks, Rory. Hibernian could probably do without additional time. Anyway, that to come. 2-0 Hearts, 0-0 Hibernian Wraith, Kilmarnock Celtic to come, and of course that will conclude our coverage of the second round of the ViaPlay Cup.
The Scottish League Cup.
Bielski allowed to turn, gets the shot in! Goal, Aberdeen! It's Stirling Albion 0, Aberdeen 1. Good shot, saved, oh, it's an off with Bath! It's Clarkson, and it's Stirling Albion 0, Aberdeen 2. Kick from the left-hand side, there's a deep one. Won by McGregor at the back post. Lancing header, it's in! And they do have a goal back! And we have a cup tie on our hands for the closing 50 minutes. It's Stirling Albion 1, Aberdeen 2.
What a performance, and I can't be any prouder of the players in there. Unfortunately, never get the result we were looking for tonight, but again, we gave a good account of ourselves.
We've had a couple of bad results here over the last few years, and we made sure we didn't do it tonight. We played with a strong team, and that's us in the next round.
Here he goes, right footed, scores! Bottom left-hand corner, perfect penalty from Gillespie. Greenock Morton strike a hammer blow in this League Cup tie. Rangers 0, Morton 1. Dessers now begins his run up, right-footed penalty coming up, but he sends the keeper the wrong way. It is a penalty apiece. It is Rangers 1, Morton 1. Dessers will feed it through to Danilo inside the box, chops onto the right and scores! Rangers 2, Morton 1 with a quarter of this match to play.
We started the game really well and had some big chances. We didn't take them. If I thought Morton came and had a right goal today, they were really well organised. They had a plan to get us in certain areas, and I thought they played well.
It was a really good performance for ourselves. Obviously we knew the challenge ahead before we got here. The Rangers would have had a lot of the ball, but I'm really proud of the boys. I thought the performance today was superb.
Airdrie 3, Ross County 3. That game has gone to extra time.
Big shock when I got in here, realised it had gone to extra time, and it was 4-3.
After going 2 down, the character for the boys to come back, and not only just come back and keep it respectable, took it back into the game and really impose our style. Second half, I thought we dominated. We probably deserved something from the game, but we can take real confidence and belief that going forward.
I thought from extra time, I thought we were excellent. I thought we just sat in and made sure that we played in a fashion that negated how they played, and we're through the quarter-finals of the Cup after coming down to a tough place to go.
Livingston versus Ayr United.
Clean sheet, 2 goals, and then the hat for the next round is really all you can ask.
Tough game, and as expected. I was really disappointed with us trying to pass the ball last week at Inverness. I felt we didn't do it, and today we showed a willingness and a bravery to go and do it against Premier League opposition for long spells, and that was pleasing for me.
Gone for Strain, he's into the box, drinking away, tries to get a shot in, but he's blocked, and it falls, and it's smashed into the top corner. What a hit that is from Caelan Boyd-Munns, and what a way to get your first goal for St Mirren. They lead 1-0. He looked like he couldn't believe it.
Two good sides right at it. It's a very solid performance from us over the course. I think we deserved it. The game played out exactly how I imagined it would. There is a bit of disappointment in it. You know, we have to lick our wounds and make sure that doesn't derail what's been a very good run to this point in the league campaign.
I think that was always going to be a very tight one, wasn't it? Both sides making fine starts to the campaign. Cimarron just edging out Motherwell. Morton giving Rangers a bit of a scare, but holding on to the lead only for 7 minutes before Rangers got their penalty and turned the match around. Livingston, in the end, I suppose in the face of it, a fairly comfortable victory against Ayr, but you heard from Lee Bullen there chatting about his team's performance. Hell of a game at Broomfield. Hadronians 3, Ross County 4 after extra time. I still call it Broomfield. I'm getting pelters from the producer. Still Broomfield. It's not Broom. Okay, there was a spell where we used to call it New Broomfield. I'm not sure we even got off with that. It'll always be Broomfield to me, albeit it's nowhere near where Broomfield used to be. Anyway, Ross County winning after extra time. Eamon Brophy edging it out. But Hadronians again showing they scored a lot of goals, don't they? They're a very, very attractive team, and just being edged there. But well done to Malky Mackay. Ross County again, fine start to the campaign. And on Friday night, it was a tough old challenge. Listened into Sports Sound, sounded like Stirling Albion put an awful lot into that game, gave Aberdeen a scare in the second half, but the Dons got through as well. And no upsets, as we've been saying, no upsets so far. Will it be that we're going to get an upset or two in the closure to round 2? Well, Hearts look to be dispelling any notion of that. 2-0 up against Partick Thistle. Might there be an upset at Easter Road? It's half-time there. Goalless, Rory Loyne.
Yes, indeed, it is goalless at half-time, despite many opportunities being carved. Just not a lot of quality to try and put them away. Hibs started the half really well. In the first 10 minutes they were the better team. However, Raith Rovers grew into it, and it must be said they were the better team for a large portion of the first half. Hibs on the second minute, as I said, they started well. Campbell chipped a ball over to Martin Boyle, who was playing right on the last defender. He got in, but the recovering defender got in to block the shot. Hibs had a handful of corners in the first 15-20 minutes, but they came to nothing. And in the 13th minute, Raith Rovers got their first sniff of goal when a poor back pass from Paul Hanlon let Smith in on the angle. However, Marshall was quick off his line to come out and smother the attempted lob. Johan caused a few problems for Raith Rovers with his running in behind. Liam Dick found it a little bit difficult to handle him. He did get a handle on things when Johan switched sides, however, and kind of fell out of the game. It's been really poor quality in the final third, I must say, and Raith Rovers look just as dangerous as Hibs do. My worry for Lee Johnson is that they could face an uphill battle domestically before the season really starts, to be totally honest with you. And you know, fingers crossed, everyone hopes to go through in the next round of the Europa League. However, that's going to be very difficult, and Lee Johnson will be desperate to scrap his way through this tie. It doesn't need to be pretty. Just get the win, get over the line and get your season going domestically. However, that is at the moment in a little bit of doubt, as it is at half-time at Easter Road. Hibernian 0, Raith Rovers 0.
Yeah, Hibs struggling in the league, of course, just 2 matches in, albeit no struggles for Hearts this afternoon, Al.
No, it's been relatively easy, Richard, and straightforward. They took the lead in 10 minutes after wave after wave of attacking at opening 10 minutes. It was a corner coming in from Lowry and Rowell's flick on at the front post, and Brian Graham couldn't get out of the way, tries to clear it, knocks it into his own net for an own goal. It was all Hearts for I would say about 30 minutes. Thistle kicking the ball away and Hearts picking it up and going at Thistle. Couldn't get a second goal. Then Thistle started to come into it a little bit, with Harry Milne getting forward on the left hand side, whipping some balls in, but there was no takers for them. And then the worst possible moment for Partick Thistle, right on 45 minutes, Lowry corner, Odell of fire with a debut header in off the underside of the bar. I've seen it on the big screen. It's about a foot over the line, well over, doubling Hearts' lead, and it's a long way back for Partick Thistle. 2 corners, 2 goals have lost. Chris Dillon will be raging with that. Hearts have been total domination. Half-time score, Hearts 2, Partick Thistle 0.
It wasn't remarkable, Alan, because you told us the crowd earlier, 12,841, a really good turnout, I think, for that cup tie, but it sounded almost muted as the second goal went in. I think everyone just taken by surprise.
Well, Richard, it hits the underside of the bar and it looks like it's bounced out, but it's not until you actually see it that it then goes in. It's a good foot over the line when it's in, and thankfully the assistant Douglas Ross on the far side has given the goal for Hearts, you know, and it's well in. We don't have the goal line technology here, and you're probably right, it was probably a bit muted, but I think the fans were just sitting expecting a goal to be scored, because Hearts have dominated this game. It's been like, I don't want to be disrespectful to Thistle, but it's been like a training match so far. It's been so easy for them, and I'm sure Hearts will take the opportunity to maybe take off the likes of Shanklin in the second half to give him a rest for Thursday evening, which is going to be a massive game here at Tynecastle if they get another goal. But difficult for Thistle. I expected better for Thistle, if I'm being honest. They've not really laid a glove on Hearts yet, and it's been easy for them.
Half a dozen changes the management team made there in the side this afternoon. Afire has scored in his debut. Kent, of course, he's been playing. Neuenhoff, Vargas, Alex Lowry getting a start as well. So he's certainly been using the squads, and Hearts have done it to good effect this afternoon. 2-0 up against Partick Thistle. It's Hibernian 0, Raith Rovers 0, and the third of this afternoon's ties will be getting underway shortly. The players emerging into the sunshine at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock against Celtic to come. In SWPL 1, well into stoppage time, it's a win for Glasgow City. They're 3-0 up against Partick Thistle. Hibernian 4-1 against Montrose Ladies. Celtic 4-1 at half-time against Hamilton. Hearts Dundee United, Motherwell Spartans and Rangers Aberdeen to come. And in the week ahead, well, listen out for the Scottish Football Podcast. It's published Monday to Friday every day. Where you normally pick up your podcast, you'll be able to get that and certainly get it through BBC Sounds. The SWPL highlights Monday night at 7, BBC Scotland channel, and there's European action to look forward to. Certainly Rangers against PSV Eindhoven, the Champions League qualifier on Tuesday. Wednesday, Hibernian play Aston Villa. Thursday, it's Hearts against PAOK and Hacken against Aberdeen. Sportsing Live on Thursday as well, incidentally, Hearts against PAOK in the qualifier there. So big coverage in the week ahead, all here with us in Sports Sound and indeed on Sports Scene on BBC Scotland. Right now it is time to settle back and enjoy the action. We will keep you right across Hearts against Partick Thistle and Hibernian Raith Rovers. The commentary though comes from Rugby Park, where it is Kilmarnock facing up to Celtic with Pat Bonner, Cammy Bell and Al Lamont.
Thanks very much, Richard. Welcome to sunny Rugby Park as the ViaPlay Cup holders Celtic begin their defence of a trophy they've won 6 times in the past 7 seasons. It's a rerun of last year's semi-final when Dyson Maida and Georgios Giacomakis goals put paid to Kilmarnock. But Killie have started the season incredibly well and will approach this tie with a degree of confidence, you would imagine. The green smoke released by some of the Celtic fans away to our left just filtering and dissipating away across the pitch and up the back of the stand here. A rather acrid smell, but Celtic in their huddle in their green and white hoops, white shorts, white socks. Killie in their traditional home kit, blue and white stripes, blue shorts, blue socks. Referee Alan Muir is ready to go. Looks like it will be Celtic going from left to right as we look at it from the back of the main stand, and Kilmarnock to kick us off through Danny Armstrong. Looks like the pick of the second round ties to me. Let's see if it lives up to that billing as Killie launch it down Celtic's right. Ralston heads it clear, and we'll get an early flavour of this new Celtic backline and how they stand up to the test of informed Kilmarnock side with Marley Watkins and Matty Kennedy in excellent form at the start of the campaign. As Derek McInnes has pointed out, neither of them are out-and-out strikers, but they've certainly caused defences a problem so far. Unfortunate not to win at Tynecastle last weekend. But this is Celtic coming forward, and it's Odin Holm as Kyogo goes down inside the box. There's a rather clumsy coming together there with Robbie Dees. He was off the ball as he chased it to the left-hand side. Packy Bonner, any hint of a penalty there in your view?
Well, he went down very, very quickly, and the ball, but it was a bad pass actually from Holm. He can overhit the ball, but he was in behind the defence, Kyogo, and I'm not sure if it was an accident more than anything else, because nobody claimed afterwards.
I was just about to say that there wasn't too many claims from the Celtic players there, which sort of insists to me that it wasn't a penalty. It looked more of a coming together.
Yeah, and I think Alan Muir has had a word in his ear that play can continue. The VAR is Don Robertson, and he would have had a look at that certainly, just to check that the coming together was no more than that and was not worthy of a penalty kick. So it's goalless, minute and a half gone. It's back with Joe Hart. It's a terrible pass back actually, he's behind for a corner kick, and that is an inauspicious start to the game by Nawrocki, who tried to play it to the side of Joe Hart's goal but misjudged the roll of the pitch, and it's behind. Joe Hart couldn't keep it in the pitch, and therefore Danny Armstrong will be able to swing one in here from the left-hand side, left-footed, the winger. An early opportunity for Killie to try and really test this home defence. It's hooked towards going onto the roof of the net there by Corey and Daba. Really excellent attempt at goal, you'd have to say, by the left wing back, and only a foot or so over Joe Hart's crossbar.
Yeah, it was a great ball in from Danny Armstrong into the front post area, and then Daba just got a yard in front of him and managed to hook it, and it was so close to going in that far top corner.
Certainly was. Celtic trying to play out from the back. Anthony Ralston short of options, tries to go down the flank, and it comes off from Daba, and the home fans encouraged by the way they've started this game.
Yeah, and you can see Kilmarnock are pressing high. They'll have smelt that mistake from the centre half there and try to put him under as much pressure as possible. McGuinness, Kennedy and Watkins all pressing the Celtic backline when they're in possession.
Yeah, I think it was Gustav.
Yeah, it was Bucky.
Lagerbielke.
I was just trying to familiarise myself with the two new centre halves, and I must admit you're right. It was Gustav Lagerbielke who's playing as the left centre back who gave Joe Hart that bad pass back, and he's in possession again now. Lagerbielke on the edge of his own 6-yard box, and that was certainly a nervy start for the Swede. And Kilmarnock pressing Celtic really high. Lagerbielke has to just hoist it up the park. Maida can't get there. It's Kilmarnock who are on the front foot in these early stages, still 0-0 after 3 minutes, and that is Nawrocki playing on the right now in the absence of Cameron Carter-Vickers at centre back. But I did mention to Derek McInnes in the pre-match interview there's a chance to try and put these two under pressure, an unfamiliar pairing, and certainly that's what they've been doing early on.
Yeah, when Celtic taking risk at the back, as you know that they will, and it's how high do you press, and then you try not to let Celtic break that press, because if you break the press with 3-4 bodies high up the pitch, then you're in trouble a little bit. And they've worked it well at the moment, Kilmarnock.
I think also Kilmarnock need to identify the right times to press as well, because they can't do it throughout the whole 90 minutes. So it's all about pressing at the right times where they can possibly steal the ball.
Maida into the penalty, flicked on by Kyogo, way by Ndaba. Greg Taylor, the former Killie player, picks up. Holm is brushed off the ball, and play allowed to continue with Celtic in possession. It's Callum McGregor more or less on the halfway line. Taylor again just barged into there by Armstrong as Lagerbielke picks up and plays out to the left hand side for Maida. Maida coming in off the flank, the pink boots into O'Reilly. It's a brilliant ball for Holm. Holm left hand side of the penalty, squares it for Kyogo. He just couldn't stretch, and it's wide of goal from Kyogo. He was desperately trying to wrap the right boot around him, but he just couldn't stretch the leg sufficiently to get the direction he was looking for, and it's wide of goal. 5 minutes almost played. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0. Chances at either end.
Great bit of passing from Celtic. One touch passing, Holm making that forward run, getting himself beyond the defence, nobody picking him up, and then when he cut that ball back, you could just see Kyogo, he was just stretching for it. He was a yard off it, but that was a really good bit of play from Celtic after being under the cosh for a little bit in these opening moments.
Out for a throw in two. Celtic just down in front of us, midway inside the Celtic half, to be taken by Anthony Ralston, getting a run in the side this early part of the season with Alistair Johnston injured. There's been a goal at Tynecastle. Alan Preston.
It looks like it's game over, Alistair here. It's a poor pass by Muirhead. The Shanklin's onto it. It's 1-on-1 with the keeper, and he coolly slots it home with his left foot. 47 minutes on the clock. Hearts 3, Partick Thistle 0.
Thanks, Alan. Yeah, that looks done and dusted. Hearts into the quarter-final as Ndaba just fails to keep a crossfield ball in. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a pretty comfortable passage into the last 8 for Hearts. Not so much for Hibs, who are still goalless against Raith Rovers. Rory Loy will keep us up to date with any goals that go in there in the second half and potentially in extra time as Celtic prepare to take the throw-in down the right. It's Ralston finding Abada midway inside the Killie half on the right flank, and Ndaba trying to stick close to him. Abada back to Ralston. He finds his captain Callum McGregor, and now it's Nawrocki square for Lagerbielke, the Swede who's been playing for the Swedish league leaders Elfsborg ahead of his transfer to the Scottish champions. Here he is once more. As Brendan Rodgers said, he might not have played had it not been for an injury to Stephen Welsh during the week just after signing a new contract. Really bad luck for the young Scottish defender, but it does give an opportunity for Lagerbielke, and that's Nawrocki finding Ralston. Ralston took a heavy touch, just manages to squeeze the pass through though to Abada. Abada advancing right hand side, finds Greg Taylor coming into a central position as he often did under Ange Postecoglou. Still likes to do that as he finds Callum McGregor midway inside the Killie half. Killie just having to get numbers back now as Celtic get into the routine. It's a wonderful ball from Kyogo. O'Reilly tries to side foot it straight at the keeper. It's a poor effort from O'Reilly. He had lots of the goal to aim at, but he's side footed. He's trying to get the bend on it to find the back post, the far post, but he didn't get the accuracy he was looking for. It's a comfortable save for Dennis, but he shouldn't have had the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, Kilmarnock's got into a back four. We thought they might have started with a back three, but they've gone to a back four with Dabbit left back, and I think it's probably Mayo just out on the right-hand side. And they've been cut open 2 or 3 times now with runners from midfield. Kyogo coming deep, as we've seen him already this season so far, and from that point of view then the midfield runners are going and they're cutting up the Kilmarnock almost 2 centre halves. They don't know how to deal with the runners.
Yeah, it's that one-touch passing that's hurting Kilmarnock at the moment.
Here's Armstrong though at the other end, goes for goal. Hart comfortably takes that straight at him really from Danny Armstrong from the edge of the box, but it's end to end just at the moment. Kilmarnock making a real game of it in these early stages. 8 minutes in though, Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0. There's Lions biting into a challenge on O'Reilly, who you would expect to have done better with that opportunity just a couple of moments ago, Cammy.
Yeah, definitely. It made it far too easy for Will Dennis in the Kilmarnock goal. I could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to shape to get it to that far left-hand corner, and he just didn't get enough turn on it. He ended up straight down the Kilmarnock keeper's throat, but it was a huge opportunity. As I say, it's that one-touch passing, touch around the corner that's really hurting this sort of flat Kilmarnock back four at the moment.
Celtic have it through Lagerbielke, midway inside their own half, just plays it square to Nawrocki, who turns it back to Joe Hart. It's under a bit of pressure from Matty Kennedy. Hart now from more or less on the penalty spot fires it forward, away by Finlay, who scored the winner the last time Kilmarnock beat Celtic. That was back here in 2018. As it's forward for Watkins inside the penalty, a nice turn, goes to ground, claimed for the penalty, referee turns away and not interested. It'll be looked at by the VAR, Don Robertson, we know that, but play continues for the moment. At least looked like he went down a little bit easily for my liking, but we'll get the guy's view on that just a moment.
Yeah, I think you're right, Al. I think he did go down a bit dramatically, but there was a hand on him, but they got in so easily. They got in behind the 2 centre backs. So in fact, I think there was 2 of them. There was Watkins and maybe Matty Kennedy. They had made the run in behind Lagerbielke, and the space was there, and they exploited it well, Kilmarnock.
Here's Armstrong trying to pick up on 1-2. Does well to just poke that back to Finlay, now crossing the halfway line out to Kennedy on the left-hand side for Kelly. Ralston just holds him up. Abada trying to put him under pressure as well. It's back with Lions, who got that winning goal here against Rangers on the opening day of the league season. What a result that was for Kilmarnock. Brilliant way to start the league campaign as Watkins picks up and turns away from Nawrocki. Excellent play by Watkins, finds Kennedy on the left-hand side, checks back onto the right foot, curls it in, header away by Lagerbielke, and Celtic managed to defend that situation when they were under a bit of pressure, and Holm comes away, but he can't find a teammate. He's nodded down by Ndaba for Lions, who's really begun to make himself a first pick for Derek McInnes, having been more of a bit part last season. Down goes Holm under the challenge of Armstrong, and it will be a free kick to Celtic just on the edge of the centre circle. 10.5 minutes played. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, good play again from Kilmarnock down this left-hand side. Matt Kennedy checking into his right foot, and you could see the intent they've got. 3 full bodies in the box to try and get on the end of it. Celtic managed to clear, but good start from Kilmarnock. They'll be very positive about this.
Greg Taylor, nice little drop of the shoulder, feign to play it back to Joe Hart and then turned away. It's now with Lagerbielke. Plays it square for Nawrocki and gets it back once more. It's a young central defensive pairing. 23 Lagerbielke is, 22 Nawrocki. As Maida gives chase down the left channel. It's good defending by Mayo. They had a couple of good tussles last season, I seem to remember. Mayo in now on a permanent deal after a successful loan spell from Rangers, and looks like a good bit of business from Derek McInnes, who I think still keen to bring what you might call an out-and-out striker into the club's Vassell on the bench, who's now club captain, but still trying to get into the starting 11, having recovered from injury. I think he would like another striker before the transfer window closes. Here's Ralston, and now McGregor, and plenty of room on the halfway line. Kennedy just trying to keep him back there, finds Ralston, no, down the right. Good challenge from Kennedy, barges Ralston over, and it's out for a throw-in to Celtic midway inside the Kelly half right hand side. Ralston just picking himself up,
And it was a strong tackle, put him right out.
It's a good throw in for Abada. Abada in the penalty, it's behind Kyogo, and no other Celtic player can get it. A good challenge from Armstrong on Taylor to just knock it out of play on the far side, but Kilmarnock just caught sleeping there with a quick throw in from Ralston. Abada was in.
See Derby getting us down on the sideline and telling him to be switched on from it was a quick throw and playing behind the defence, and Abada just low ball across almost about 8 or 9 yards. I just went behind Kyogo, no takers. Kilmarnock getting away with it, but Kilmarnock set up with their back four. They've obviously got the two sitting in the midfield, but they pushed almost Kyle McGuinness in on top of McGregor to try to stop him dictating the game, and then with the two up front, Kennedy playing more out on the left hand side and Watkins more inside right channel.
Celtic have it, but pressure on Callum McGregor, too much pressure, says Alan Muir, the referee, from Kyle McGuinness, and it will be a free kick to Celtic just inside their own half. I think the Killie fans thought that was a soft one, but Taylor's off and running down the left hand side for Celtic. Back goes Armstrong with him, and Taylor has to check back to his captain McGregor. Lagerbielke plays it square on the halfway line to Nawrocki. 13.5 minutes in, still no goals. 3-0 Hearts lead, 0-0 between Hibs and Raith. That's a loose one there, straight out of play from Celtic, and it will be a Kilmarnock throw in. And, I felt that one of the big positives for Kilmarnock in that Rangers victory was the huge home crowd they had behind them, and it's not really the same this afternoon. It's quite a small gathering of Kilmarnock fans. I guess perhaps a reflection of it being the League Cup rather than the league, but vociferous support they had behind them against Rangers really helped the players, the ones who are inside Rugby Park, trying to make themselves heard, with Celtic having the stand off to their left absolutely jam-packed as they look to win the League Cup for a 7th season out of 8. It's quite an incredible record. And as Brendan Rodgers was reflecting pre-match, it was the first trophy that he won in his first spell here, looking to continue that. He's never lost a League Cup tie actually as Celtic manager.
You can see that high press there from Kilmarnock, a goal kick for Celtic, and they're almost man marking in the Celtic half, and it ends up being a long ball from the defender who kicks it straight through the Kilmarnock goalkeeper. So it's a really good setup from Derek McInnes. It's brave, because if they do get picked off it can be dangerous for them, but if they get it right it can also be very successful.
Long from Will Dennis in the Kilmarnock goal, headed on by Ndaba, but straight to Greg Taylor just outside his own penalty area. Just checks the shoulder and steps away from Kennedy, then plays it out to the left hand side for Dyson Maida, who's hugging the touchline and then coming forward looking for the 1-2 off home. Doesn't quite manage to execute that, the young Norwegian, and Kilmarnock clear their lines. Watkins was shoved in the back there by Lagerbielke, and the free kick goes Kilmarnock's way on the halfway line. Quarter of an hour gone at Rugby Park, and it's still Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it's Kilmarnock have pressed them high. They've put Celtic under pressure. They've coped okay with it. Celtic are dangerous when they get into the Kilmarnock half, especially with the runners going. They've got in twice now, Celtic will be happy enough to get through the first 20 minutes, creating a couple of chances, while Kilmarnock will be delighted that they've survived also. So this game will develop over the next sort of while, and we'll see which team settles best.
Killie just about to take the free kick then on the halfway line. They've thrown a number of bodies forward. There's been a goal at Easter Road. Let's get news of it from Rory Lloyd.
Yes, indeed, and it's gone to the home side. Hibs. It was a wonderful corner in from Joe Newell. Ellie Johan jumped the highest and headed home. I must say, Hibs should have had a penalty at the start of the second half. It wasn't given. Raith Rovers had missed a great chance himself, a combination of the post. David Marshall kept it out, but eventually Hibs have broken the deadlock, and it's Hibs 1, Raith Rovers 0.
Thanks, Rory. Marley Watkins, while you were with Rory, just having an effort on goal from a very narrow angle. No real threat to Joe Hart, who went down and took it pretty comfortably, but Kilmarnock certainly engineering some opportunities in this opening 17 minutes, and still neither side have been able to find the breakthrough, as O'Reilly, who's probably had the best chance for Celtic, picks up over on the left hand side. Taylor now leaving it for Maida in off the left, back to McGregor midway inside the Killie half, tries the through ball. It's defended by Robbie Dees, who you were talking about pre-match. Cammy has been an impressive signing so far, and certainly does look to have adapted to life in the top flight pretty comfortably.
Yeah, he's done well. He's done well since he's came into the team, and it'll be important. These games are all learning curves for him, and the big games that he's been involved in so far.
Hugo tries to loop one at goal, but again, it's a comfortable take for Will Dennis, who's another player who's impressed me, certainly in that game against Rangers. Although he didn't have a massive amount to do, he was commanding, and he's kept 4 clean sheets in his 6 appearances, which I think pretty much every goalkeeper would be pretty pleased with that ratio.
Yeah, well, I think the word you used there was commanding. That was he was very, very confident and assured of his own performance against Rangers. Again, the occasion didn't get to him, which is great to see, and I think he'll grow in this Kilmarnock shirt. They had a good goalkeeper in Sam Walker last season, who was very important for Killie, and I'm sure he'll want to take that on this season.
At the other end, it's Joe Hart clutching a through ball there and just rolling it out for Lagerbielke, who looks to have settled now after that wayward back pass in the first couple of minutes, but looks assured now alongside the Pole Nawrocki, who finds Ralston. Ralston coming down the right hand side, but checks back, and it's with Nawrocki once more, looking up for options midway inside his own half. Closed down by McGuinness. McGregor picks up, but he's caught in possession there by Watkins. Celtic though have it back, and it's Maida out in the far side up against Mayo. Armstrong coming to double up on him. It's back with Taylor left hand side, midway inside the Killie half. O'Reilly now poked away from him by Lyons. Celtic pick up once more. It's Nawrocki coming forward. Might think about the shot here. He does, but it's miles wide of Dennis's right hand post, out for a goal kick. 19 minutes almost played. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, for the first period in the game, Kilmarnock getting pinned back a little bit. Celtic just getting a bit of good control in midfield. This time the big centre half taking a chance with his shot. He was well out. He just didn't connect well off target. But yeah, the game's settling into a little bit of a pattern now, with Celtic getting a wee bit more control of the game.
No wins in 13 for Kilmarnock against Celtic. 1 draw and 12 defeats in that period, as I mentioned, since the victory back in 2018 when Stuart Finlay, back at the club in his 4th spell, scored when he was here previously. That was against Brendan Rodgers' side. Here's Abada, right hand side, comes inside, and Daba tries to get the 1-2 from O'Reilly, but O'Reilly was off the mark there with the return ball. Derek McInnes has been out quite a lot at the edge of his technical area, bawling on instructions, not happy about something. What would that likely be, do you think, Cammy?
Yeah, I think it'll be the runners beyond. I think that's what's caused Kilmarnock problems so far. They're obviously a back four and very flat, and it's these midfield runners that are getting beyond the back four, and have had 2 massive opportunities for Celtic so far. So they'll be making sure the communication, or if the midfielder has to track the player, it's got to be better, because they will get punished if they continuously do that.
Yeah, I think it looks like he's changed the back four to get an extra player higher up the pitch, to put Celtic under pressure, stop them dominating from the back.
So to play before Brad Lyons knocked it down the line. Don't think the Kilmarnock fans nor Lyons himself agree with the official who put his flag up, but throwing it is midway inside the Celtic half. 20 minutes played, no goals. O'Reilly, is that a handball? Alan Muir didn't see it, nor did the assistant on the near side, but the Kilmarnock fans thought they did.
I think he got away with one there. Matt O'Reilly, is the handball, isn't it? If it happened inside the box, it would have been a penalty, so it's a free kick outside the box, no doubt about it.
Here's Armstrong, and Kilmarnock doing well to A, win the ball back, and B, keep it, as Mayo with a big switch of play. It's a wonderful ball, the left foot there out to Ndaba, who tries to slide it down the line for Kennedy, but Ralston read it, and Kilmarnock fans thought that was out of play. I don't think it was. Play rightly allowed to continue, but as usual, home fans tended to think that everything's going against them, but I think the officials got that one right. Celtic have it. Ralston, midway inside his own half, just clips it over McGuinness and out to Lagerbielke, who's able to come up towards the halfway line, and then fires it to the feet of Maida. Maida left hand side, just tries to play it between 2 Kilmarnock players. He claimed for handball, but again play carries on, and the ball's out of play. I think on the far side. Is it a throw-in or a free kick for the challenge by Maida on Armstrong? Either way, it will be Kilmarnock's ball as we approach the midway point in this first half. No goals, chances at either end certainly. Ndaba going close for Kilmarnock. Kyogo and O'Reilly at the other end for Celtic. O'Reilly should have scored, I reckon, but straight at the keeper. as Watkins goes, and that's a wonderful touch, tipping it out of the air down the right channel. He's tracked by Taylor, but he's managed to find Armstrong. Good challenge from Maida, had to be. Watkins has won it back off him. He started the game very well, he started the season very well, Marley Watkins, like you could say about pretty much all of his Kilmarnock teammates, as Armstrong tries to tease it into the penalty area. Back there goes Home, just knocks it out of play for a throw-in on the far side, in line with the Celtic 18-yard box. It is us at the halfway point of the first period, still 0-0, but Kilmarnock very much making a game of this, as he expected they would. Throw in to be taken by young David Watson, who's got a good long throw on him. He brought about the only goal against Rangers down at the other end. What can he do here? In it comes to the edge of the 6-yard box. It's a commanding header there by Lagerbielke. Comes to McGuinness, who takes it on first time, but it's well over the top. Couldn't get over the ball to keep it down, and it's a good 5 or 6 yards over the top of Joe Hart's goal, and it remains Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0.
It's a decent throw though, from the young man. It's a weapon, you know, and if you can get it into that mix, get it into that area, then you've always got a chance if you get somebody's head on it.
Yeah,
even second phase.
I think Kilmarnock as well, they're quite physical team when they send up their back four, and it'll put Celtic under pressure. And as you say, you never know where the ball's going to fall. Fell there to McGuinness, and he just couldn't quite get his strike right.
Not forward by Mayo. Lagerbielke just lets that go over his head, and out comes Joe Hart to the edge of his penalty area and taps it back to the Swedish centre back, who squares it for. Sorry, that was Nawrocki. I'm still getting those two mixed up in the early days of the. They do look quite alike from this distance, certainly, and they both got orange boots on, which doesn't help. But anyway, that's me getting my several excuses in. But Nawrocki's playing right centre back, and he's got number 17 in his back, so no real excuses. As Finlay, the number 17 for Kelly, plays that straight out of play for a throw into Celtic. He was looking for Ndava, 24 in, 0-0. Ralston takes it back the way to Nawrocki, midway inside his own half now, and into the feet of Greg Taylor, still coming into that what do you call it, inverted full-back role, Packie, which was really an Ange Postecoglou tactic that certainly worked for Celtic and Greg Taylor, and clearly Brendan Rodgers allowing him licence to continue to do that, but he's lost it to Danny Armstrong on this occasion, and Armstrong's inside the penalty area, right hand side of the box, squeezes it into the 6-yard box. McGuinness couldn't connect with it, and Hart takes it inside his 6-yard box as Kilmarnock continue to threaten.
Yeah, I think Greg Taylor would naturally come in there because he's been so used to doing it all last seasons before, and he will drift into that position, and he's done it very, very effectively over the last number of years, so there's no reason why he can't still do it. That time he lost the ball to Dan Armstrong, and he took him on a 1v1 and got a decent ball across that 6-yard box. Joe Hart doing very well, actually, got a good hand to it and making the save.
Yeah, and I think that's what Danny Armstrong will want, is facing up Greg Taylor 1v1, driving at him, because then you make the decision, especially if he gets him into the box. Greg Taylor knows he can't make the challenge, it's very, very risky then, and Kilmarnock will try and use that as much as they can, get Danny Armstrong on the ball, running at Greg Taylor.
Celtic have it through Ralston, who plays it back to Nawrocki on the halfway line. 25 gone now, still no goals. Both Edinburgh sides winning in their cup ties. 3-0 Hearts against Partick Thistle, 1-0 Hibs against Raith Rovers, deep into the second half of both those ties. Celtic looking to continue their defence of the trophy as O'Reilly wins the corner kick off Lions. Right hand side corner kick for Celtic coming up, which will be taken by O'Reilly himself.
Yeah, it's that little run, isn't it, from midfield. You've got a match to run. The Kilmarnock players are sort of kind of almost standing watching, and
here comes the corner kick then. Left foot, it's a wonderful ball into the edge of the 6-yard box. It's cleared though by the Kilmarnock defence. Back out now with Callum McGregor on the right hand side. Taylor at the edge of the box on the right as well. He's well challenged by the tenacious 18-year-old David Watson of Kilmarnock, and Kelly trying to play their way out of a tight spot down at their own corner flag. They managed to get it up to the halfway line, but possession coughed up to Celtic in the shape of Ralston, who comes back and gets it back from Nawrocki, and now it's Lagerbielke crossing the halfway line. Out to the left-hand side it goes to Taylor, midway inside the Killie half, gets it back from Maida.
Oh, he picked the wrong pass. I'll tell you, Lagerbielke Maeda was in. You know, he had made a great run, and Mayo went out to the winger, and he should have stayed where he was, and he opened up a huge space, but he didn't pick the pass, didn't see the pass.
That's given away by Nawrocki as Kennedy picks up left-hand side for Kilmarnock and then tries to get the beating of Anthony Ralston. There's been a goal at Easter Road. There's a free kick here to Kilmarnock, so that gives us a chance to cross the Leith and Rory Loy.
Yes, indeed, and it's the away fans who are cheering because Raith Rovers have equalised. Lewis Vaughan went to play a pass through to Callum Smith. Lewis Stevenson intercepted it, however, it caught the back of his heel, fell to Callum Smith, who slotted low and hard past David Marshall to restore parity here. It's Hibs 1, Raith Rovers 1.
Thanks, Rory. Yeah, Kelly free kick here, and it will be taken by Matty Kennedy. By the looks of it, it's midway inside the Celtic half, so Celtic trying to hold a very, very high line about 5 yards outside their penalty area. What can Kilmarnock make of this as Danny Armstrong and Kennedy plot as to who's going to send this one in? Armstrong has the arm aloft, and it's him that clips it to the edge of the box. It's headed away though by Taylor, only as far as Watson, who tries to help it back to the edge of the box. Lyons gets the flick on, but there first was Anthony Ralston, who just knocks it clear up to the halfway line. Kyogo will chase this. Armstrong's there ahead of him, but he takes a chance, and Kyogo's nicked it off him, heading into the penalty right hand side. Very tight angle, goes for goal, well saved by Will Dennis at his near post. The angle was against Kyogo, but as usual he hit the target, and Dennis forced to work as Kilmarnock concede a free kick. It's Kennedy chopping down Ralston right hand side, not too far outside the penalty area, and there's been another goal at Easter Road. Rory?
Yes indeed, Alan. Hibs are back in front. It's the home side. Eli Yuhan far too strong for Liam Dick down the right hand side. He cuts the ball back, and who's there? It's substitute just on the pitch, new signing Dylan Vente, who manages just to squeeze it under Dabrowski for 2-1 Hibs.
Well, a couple of goals within about a minute or so there for Rory. 2-1 Hibs, 3-0 Hearts, and Celtic with an opportunity here almost in the half-hour mark to try and break the deadlock here. It's going to be O'Reilly just about 2 or 3 yards in from the right-hand touchline, and about 20 yards from the goal line. Celtic have got plenty of bodies forward as O'Reilly sends it in. It's not such a good delivery this time, well cleared to the edge of the box as Holm picks up and just knocks it back to Taylor. Taylor will loft it back to the Celtic right. In the way though was Matty Kennedy, out to O'Reilly now midway inside the Celtic half, sorry, the Killie half. It's back with Taylor, just in from the left hand side, plays it back to Lagerbielke. Now Nawrocki in the centre circle, and back once more with his central defensive partner. Lagerbielke slides it forward for Kyogo. We've not had a chance to go over the chance that he had just a moment ago. Packy,
it was slack play by Danny Armstrong. He just allowed Kyogo to take the ball and then he used that turn of pace, driving all the way almost to the 6-yard box. It was a tight angle to beat Will Dennis in the Kilmarnock goal. He just stood up and made the save, but that was a slack bit of play from Danny Armstrong.
Daba heading it back to his goalkeeper there, under a bit of pressure there from Lee Labada. Yeah, it was Kyogo, a real burst of pace from him to get away from Danny Armstrong, who's no slouch, but thankfully for Armstrong, his goalkeeper bailed him out with a decent stop. Kyogo didn't really have any support, so he had to go for goal, and if anyone can score from that kind of angle, you would probably say it would be Kyogo, but on this occasion the Killie keeper kept him out. That's right, still 0-0 as half an hour comes and goes. Flicked forward by Holm over the halfway line and picked up by Finlay just inside his own half. Tries the switch of play, it's adventurous, and Taylor heads it back to the halfway line. Lyons is there for Killie, helped on by McGuinness, but it's just hooked more in hope than expectation, and Kilmarnock giving away the ball as Taylor picks up on his own goal line, plays it infield to Lagerbielke inside the penalty area. 31 played, Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0.
Go back to that Kyogo chance. I think, listen, Will Dennis does everything right, gets his angles all right. Kyogo, for me, does everything right, fires it in at the feet, because that's the only place I think he would score, is going through the legs at such a tight angle. But for me, it was a good bit of goalkeeping as well.
Kyogo already with a couple of goals. Another goal at Tynecastle, Alan Preston.
That's 4-0 to Hearts. Tagoe with his first goal for the club. Lowry steals the ball in the middle of the park, rolls through the Japanese player, and the left foot smashes it beyond the keeper David Mitchell. Hearts 4, Partick Thistle 0.
Well, it's quite a win for Hearts, and continuing where they left off on Thursday night. What a brilliant night that was, getting through the tie against Rosenborg, coming from 2 goals down in the tie. But Cam Devlin popping up with a couple of goals to send them through. As Maida comes forwards for Celtic down the left-hand side. Offside flags up though against the Japanese winger as he's being used. I read some quotes from Brendan Rodgers saying, I think it was from maybe a month or so ago, but saying that he actually thinks of him more as a through-the-middle striker, Packy. But I mean, he's spent most of his Celtic career on the flank, and clearly he can operate well there, and you would have to say unlikely to displace Kyogo as the striker.
Yeah, but he has played there. He's played there for Japanese international team, and we've seen him play in that position a number of times. Even when Kyogo goes off, he goes through the middle, and he's got that turn of pace. That's what he is. When he plays wide, he just needs to probably have a little bit more movement to go away, to come to the ball, to get on the ball to his feet. But when he gets it, and when he knocks it by you, nobody's catching him. If he gets a yard on you, you're in trouble.
It's out for a goal kick to Celtic. We've played 33 minutes here at Rugby Park, no goals in this League Cup second round tie. Celtic and Kilmarnock both looking to join Aberdeen, Rangers, Ross County, Livingston and St Mirren already in the Hearts. Pretty much absolutely nailed on to be in there with them as well, and Hibs favourites currently to oust Raith Rovers with probably about 10 minutes or so left in that tie at Easter Road. This one's still stalemate though, as Kilmarnock win it back in the middle of the park, and it's Watson who very much looks like a first pick for Derek McInnes now coming into the team last season, as Armstrong again is caught in possession, this time by Holm. He then pulled back Kyogo, didn't he? And it will be a free kick to Celtic at the edge of the centre circle, and Armstrong just got to be a bit sharper in there.
Yeah, he's just taking too many touches again. It was just he wanted too much time with Kyogo's chance. It's the same again. You don't get that time against Celtic. They're right on your case and you need to move the ball fast, so Derek McInnes will be in his ear about that. Move the ball faster.
I think he did the wise thing though, giving away the foul though.
Another foul, yeah.
You know, obviously he's lucky he didn't go in the referee's book, but certainly that was important just to stop the game because he made a big mistake.
And Nawrocki's just knocked it straight out of play, and it'll be a goal kick to Kilmarnock, who will be pleased with the way this game has gone so far. They have held pretty firm at the back, just coughing up a couple of chances to Celtic, and they've created one or two moments of trouble for the Celtic backline themselves.
They started off well, didn't they, Kilmarnock? I thought they had a good start, pressed high, put Celtic under a bit of pressure, tested those two centre-backs, but the game has certainly fallen into a kind of a familiar pattern where Celtic dominating possession in the last probably 10-15 minutes.
Only Dundee United conceded more goals in the Premiership last season than Kilmarnock, but they've beaten Rangers here 1-0, drawn nothing each at Tynecastle. They didn't concede many in the League Cup group stage either. It looks like Derek McInnes has really worked on that defensive organisation and so on. They're looking a lot harder to score goals against at the start of this season, Cammy.
Yeah, listen, he's brought in his own players as well, and as you say, he's had time to sort of introduce the way that he wants to defend, and it's got to be the foundation for Kilmarnock. They don't concede many goals, they're always in the game, and that's exactly what happened here against Rangers at Rugby Park. Defended for long periods of time, but then they got the opportunity and took it, and that's where Derek McInnes will be happy with the way this first half went. There's been a couple of opportunities, runners beyond as Hearts Kilmarnock so far, and then the other opportunity was Danny Armstrong being slack in defence. So Celtic haven't created too many clear-cut opportunities in this first half.
No, they have this problem with the runners going though, you know, and there was another opportunity for them to pick Greg Taylor out, and it's coming almost from Lagerbelke, who's stepping forward in the midfield, but he's picking the wrong pass attempts. He just needs to get his head up and see and wait for the moment, but he's passing the ball, just making the wrong decision. But it's his first game, and he'll get used to this, there's no question.
Ball swept forward by Greg Taylor. Kyogo will give chase, but Robbie D's got plenty of time to knock that back to Will Dennis, who first time launches it over the halfway line. Lagerbilka heads it back over the halfway line. Lyons heads it off O'Reilly, but he's able to pick up the loose ball and then slides in to win it with a 50-50 against Maida. It was good tenacity there from the Kilmarnock skipper. He's worn the armband with Vassell being on the bench for the moment, and he's certainly in
endearing himself to the Kilmarnock fans this season, Brad Lyons, not least with that winning goal against Rangers here. Dennis again knocks it over the halfway line for Kilmarnock. Lagerbielke just takes a touch and then plays it back to Joe Hart, chased down by McGuinness, but Hart stays cool and just plays it back to Lagerbielke, who plays the ball forward to Maida, who tries to lose his marker, Mayo, who slides in though and wins it back for Kilmarnock. He's really sticking to his task there, Mayo, following Maida way back the pitch, and Kilmarnock now have got the free kick midway inside the Celtic half, right hand side, and a chance for them to load the box and potentially take the lead here ahead of half time. 37 minutes played, 0-0.
Yeah, and listen, it was brilliant from Mayo again, followed them all the way in. It is risky because if they get beyond it, it allows a lot of gaps to be in the Kilmarnock defence, but listen, he made the challenge, won the ball high up the pitch in the Celtic half, and that's where they've tried to steal it. They've tried to steal it in the Celtic half so that Kilmarnock get on the front foot and get opportunities, and this, if a good delivery in the box, can be an opportunity for Killie.
Yeah, again it's Kennedy and Armstrong over the free kick, but it's right hand side, right of centre, about maybe 15 yards in from the touchline and about 35 yards from the goal line. Kennedy or Armstrong. Armstrong moves away, so it'll be the right footed Kennedy to sweep it into the penalty. It's a decent delivery, but it's actually too close to Joe Hart in the end. He goes down and collects it low under no real pressure, and the chance is gone for Killie. 7 minutes left in the half. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0. Celtic have it at the back.
It was a good take by Joe Hart there. Dangerous ball, driven in with a bit of pace on it in between the goalkeeper and the defence, and Joe's made a good decision. Common got good hands on it, took the pressure off.
McGregor to Nawrocki and out to the right hand side to Ralston, back with Nawrocki, and he gets it back again from Callum McGregor just inside his own half, plays it square for Lagerbielke, just a few yards inside the Killie half, out to the left for Taylor. Taylor checks back inside, gets it back from home. Lagerbielke once more. Kilmarnock really well organised, everyone shuffling across from right to left as Celtic try to switch the play.
What they're not allowing to happen is that Callum McGregor's not getting into this game because he's almost been man-marked, and it's up to the centre halves to step out into those areas where there's space and make and pick the right pass.
It's Nawrocki trying to lift it over Ndaba to find Abada, and he does do. Abada right hand side for Celtic, having to check back about 15 yards from the goal line. In off the right he comes, lays it back to McGregor midway inside the Killie half, into Taylor, who again is advanced and central. McGregor once more forward for Abada, right of the box, tries to get the ball into the penalty area, but Abada blocks the cross, and it's behind for a Celtic corner, right hand side. 5 minutes to the break. Killie 0, Celtic 0. O'Reilly to take this one, looking to try and pick out a teammate. Celtic look for the opening goal. Oh, that's a heavy fall there for Dees, was it, who met us, and Ndaba, who was back there, who got his head to it and then was taken out, but he's back on his feet. It was good defending, and then Kilmarnock have won themselves a free kick at the edge of the box. Ndaba, again, I've mentioned 2 or 3 players, but Ndaba looks like a good acquisition for Kilmarnock as well.
Yeah, another good sign, a really good header, important header there, because it was a good ball in from O'Reilly from this right hand side, whipped in, and he got up really well. I was actually surprised it wasn't a free kick. I felt as if the Celtic player took him out after he headed it, but yeah, he started his Kilmarnock career very, very well. Looks a good signing, very good size of a boy as well, and for the physical battle.
Kilmarnock coming forward, Watkins trying to cause some problems at the edge of the box. Armstrong's down, claiming for a foul at least, if not a penalty, right on the edge of the box. Nothing doing again as Kyle McGuinness picks up left hand side and plays it back to Ndaba, who himself plays it infield for Lions. He's under pressure there from McGregor and Abada, but manages to keep it, gets it back to Finlay, who in turn just plays it back to his goalkeeper Will Dennis, who launches it long, one for Ndaba to go and attack, but attacks Anthony Ralston rather too physically and knocks into the deck at the expense of a free kick to Celtic just inside, well, midway inside really their own half. Ralston's back on his feet, free kick and nothing more. And
I think
both managers will be quite happy in the way the game has panned out. Obviously there's been a couple of half chances in the game. The best one probably going to Matt O'Reilly, but he failed to control when he was going through, or he took it onto his wrong foot. He should have probably gone with his right. That was probably the best one. But overall I think both managers will be saying, well, we have a chance in this game, the way the game's panned out at the moment.
Just over 3 minutes left, plus any added on time at the end for stoppages. It's a throw into Kelly midway inside their own half, taken by Mayo, launched up the right. Kennedy picks up for Kilmarnock, turns it back to Armstrong. Armstrong tries to take on Taylor, but he's lost it, and Celtic have it through Maida, just crossing the halfway line. Armstrong trying to get back to win it once more for Kilmarnock, but he hasn't managed to do so, and Ralston now brings it out to the right hand side for Abada. Abada midway inside Kilmarnock territory, in from the right he comes, knocks it back though to the halfway line for Nawrocki, who quickly plays it to Greg Taylor just outside the centre circle, clips over the top, wonderful ball. Maida checks back with the first touch, and it allows Lewis Mayo to get back in, make the sliding challenge to dispossess him, knock it behind for a corner. A wonderful ball from Greg Taylor, decent first touch from Maida, but good defending from Mayo.
Just got stuck under his foot, didn't it, really, and he couldn't take it on with him, but it was a good run, good pass, good chance.
And the Celtic corner taken by Holm, right footed from the left hand side, away by Finlay, helped on by Kennedy down the Kilmarnock right, and that'll go out for a throw in on the far side to Celtic. Still no goals. We'll just get the full time reports from Tynecastle and Easter Road at half time in this one, with both Hearts and Hibs looking like taking their place in the quarter-final draw, as Greg Taylor prepares to take the throw in from just inside his own half. Will it be Kilmarnock, will it be Celtic to join them in the next round? Still in a finely balanced here, certainly, as Nawrocki picks up and tries to move away from Watkins, who just nudges him in the back. Down he goes, the Polish defender, and it will be a free kick to Celtic just inside their own half as half-time approaches.
Yeah, critical time for both teams. Obviously Kilmarnock will be wanting to go on 0-0 and have something to build on. Celtic desperate to get a goal.
Taylor into the penalty area, looking for Kyogo, but it's headed away before he can latch onto it. Celtic have it back though. Maida and Abada have just swapped position just at the tail end of this first period, as Celtic keep possession at the back. It's Nawrocki forward for Holm, challenged by Watson. Looked like he might have been a little bit late there, but referee just points for a goal kick, and it will be Kilmarnock, as Callum McGregor has a word with Alan Muir, I think probably about that challenge that came in. It looked to me like he was just a wee bit late there.
Slightly late, but he doesn't hold back, the young man, does he?
Listen, he made up some ground there. He could see he was getting his head up to play the pass, and young Watson made up 5-6 yards to make that challenge. And listen, they might have been a little bit late, but there wasn't too much in it.
Goal kick taken, and a foul in there from Nawrocki on Watkins, and Kilmarnock have got a free kick right at the end of this first period, about 20 yards into the Celtic half, and it is a chance to throw the centre backs forward again. 1 minute to be added on, and we just tick into that now. So this is likely the last chance of the half. Can Kilmarnock?
Yeah, I think Matty Kennedy should bend this in almost. The last time I think
it was a very high line from Celtic.
The last time I think it was I'm trying to think who took the Armstrong, and it was an outswinger, it was a poor one, bended right into that space between Joe Hart.
It is Kennedy who swings it in, but it's away, and Dava couldn't quite reach it. Watson though keeps it alive, sent back in by Finlay. That's a good ball, and Dava attacks. Oh, he should score, but he sent it wide, just a foot wide of Joe Hart's right hand post. He was rooted to the spot, the keeper, and Dava rose highest. It was such an inviting ball in from Finlay, but he couldn't hit the target. Massive chance for Kilmarnock, passed up in the stroke at half time, 0-0.
Oh, he's got to score. He's got to just direct it on target. He comes off the side of his head and goes by the post, and couldn't have been much in it from our angle. Probably difficult to see that, but certainly what a chance just before half time.
It is a half-time whistle, and what a difference that could have made if Corey and Daba had directed that on target. There was no way Joe Hart was keeping it out. You didn't feel such was the proximity of the header, but He sent the header wide, having towered above the Celtic defence. Brilliant ball in from Finlay, but wide it went, and therefore the half-time scoreline is 0-0. Chances at either end in that first period, and Daba early on as well hooked the ball onto the roof of the net before at the other end Holm sent it into the 6-yard box, but Kyogo on the stretch just couldn't get his right foot wrapped round it and sent the ball wide. Best chance for Celtic in the first period fell to Matt O'Reilly. He was played in on goal, but in trying to get his body round the ball to get onto his left foot, he just hit it too straight at the keeper when he was trying to find the back post, and it was a comfortable save in the end for Will Dennis. Marley Watkins had an effort from a tight angle, pretty comfortably saved by Joe Hart, but then that opportunity right on the stroke of half-time for Corey and Daba will be one that he'll be reliving over and over in his mind at the moment, you would imagine, cursing his luck there as he sent the header wide when he probably should have scored. At half-time at Rugby Park, it's Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0.
The Scottish League Cup.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Where Scottish football lives.
Following Scotland's teams in Europe.
The action continues on Tuesday evening with Rangers versus PSV Eindhoven.
Long cross comes in!
Rangers in the Champions League playoff round.
It's there for them. That's all you want. You're saying to yourself, we've got 2 games here to be in the Champions League.
Sports Sound, Tuesday night from 7.
European dreams live here.
And Ibrox celebrates the most dramatic of nights here in Glasgow.
Listen on digital radio.
Or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra.
Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0 at half-time, approaching full-time in the 2 o'clock kick-offs. Hearts 4-0 up against Partick Thistle, Hibernian 2-1 against Raith Rovers. In the English Premier League, Aston Villa strolling to victory against Everton. John McGinn got the first, Douglas Luiz penalty, Leon Bailey and John Duran scoring with, he was just on the pitch. It was seconds after he came on the pitch he scored the 4th goal there. In the SWPL, Hibernian beat Montrose 4-1. It was Partick Thistle 0, Glasgow City 3. Celtic's women 6-1 up against Hamilton into stoppage time, and almost half-time it's Hearts 1, Dundee United 0. Still to come, Motherwell against Spartans, and then a few minutes after that, 4:10 kick-off for Rangers against Aberdeen. We will reflect on the opening 45 minutes there at Rugby Park. It's been a very, very tight affair, but we are moving towards full time in the 2 cut ties. Alan, you just about there at Tynecastle?
It's done, Richard. Yeah, 4-0. Just as Hearts hit the post from Kingsley with a strike from the edge of the box. It's such an easy victory. I expected better from Partick Thistle. Been really disappointed in them today. Hearts could have won by 7 or 8. They took the lead in 10 minutes. A corner came in from Lowry. It was Rolls flick on at the front post, and Brian Graham's trying to clear it. He gets it all wrong, goes into the back of the net. It's 2-0 right on the stroke of half time. Lowry corner again, this time with Delo Fire with a header from about 6 yards in off the underside of the bar for his debut goal. This will be gutted, 2 corners, 2 goals. It was 3-0 and tie over in 47 minutes. Muirhead with a poor pass straight to Shankar, who runs through and slots it home for his 4th goal of the season. For me, Lowry should have had a Stonewall penalty. Boyce had a shot well saved. Vargas had a chance. Kingsley had a shot, and Kingsley just hit the post as I just touched on. But they got the 4th one when new signing Tagawa was rolled through by Alex Lowry, and his left foot shot beat the keeper easy. Such an easy victory for Hearts. Disappointing for Partick Thistle. Hearts 4, Partick Thistle 0.
Really surprising, Alan, but maybe it does just reflect the quality that Hearts have got in that squad these days.
I would agree, Richard. Yeah, and he'll be delighted, Ofaya and Tagawa get their goals. Vargas gets game time under his belt. Lowry, I thought, was brilliant. Really lovely touches. Lowry at times. Hearts are building a formidable squad. They're all on fronts at the moment. They're in the League Cup, obviously, into the quarter-finals now. Big, massive game for them on Thursday. They took the opportunity to take the ones off that had been playing most of the games, like say Kent and Shanklin, to come off to give them a rest. They've used a full squad today, and I'm sure the management team will be absolutely delighted. But for Chris Doolan, it was a real bad day at the office. They didn't turn up at all. They were well beaten from the start of this game. The first 10 minutes, Hearts really got into them, and once that first goal went in, there was only one winner.
Yeah, really surprising that, not in the sense that because clearly Hearts have got the quality, but I think we all expected a bit more from Partick Thistle in that. With almost 13,000 at Tynecastle, Hearts have won by 4 goals to nil. Hibernian playing Wraith Rovers, of course, at Easter Road. Is it all over there, Rory Loy?
No, not quite yet, Richard. There was 5 minutes went up a couple of minutes ago, so we've got about 3 minutes left to play. It's been a really entertaining game here, I must say. Chances for both sides, a couple of penalty shouts for both sides, 3 goals in this second half as well. Hibs just edging Wraith Rovers in what will be a hard-fought win if they're managed to hold on for the last couple of minutes.
OK, back with Rory when that full-time whistle goes. Remember, Kilmarnock and Celtic 0-0 at the interval. We talked about the pitch beforehand. It is inevitably a talking point from time to time, particularly Cammy in these kind of conditions. It seemed to me it has made it quite tricky at times.
Yeah, listen, it'll be very dry today. They're obviously watering it here at half time, but as I said before the game, within 10 minutes it dries up very quickly when there's a wind, when there's sun on it. So it does slow the play up, which hampers the way that Celtic want to play. But take nothing away from Kilmarnock. They've pressed really well, they've pressed at the right times, they've created opportunities like they did in that Rangers game. They've defended well at times. I think their only problem has been the midfield runners that have caught them out on a couple of occasions. I'm sure Derek McInnes will be in there at half time saying to his players, his midfielders, it's got to be communication or you follow your runner. It's one or the other. We can't allow this Celtic team opportunities, but he'll be happy with the first half performance. He probably should have scored there at the end. It was a massive chance for Ndaba. Great ball in from Finlay from the left hand side, just chipped it into the box. Ndaba got up early and it was just inches wide of the post.
Yeah, it looked to be very close. Celtic, a couple of chances earlier on, Pat, kind of huffed and puffed a wee bit.
Yeah, they were tested out early on with Kilmarnock pressing them high, obviously going to try to see what was made of the two centre backs, and they nearly got a bit of joy out of it. But once Celtic came to terms with the game, then they started passing, and as Cammy rightly says, they had a couple of good chances from runners going, and the two centre backs, obviously they've changed it. Kilmarnock at the back, they've gone with the two centre backs, and they were just getting caught out a little bit early on, and those runners. But I think you're right about the pitch. When the runners go and the ball's played, the ball almost checks up and you can run. You can almost get it under control. I think that happened with Matt O'Reilly, and even Young Home when he went through, and I think Maeda when he went through and appeared down into the left side, and it just caught under his feet and he couldn't get it out to get the strike away and allowed Celtic or Kilmarnock defenders to get back in there. But what Kilmarnock have done well is that they've pushed on Cal McGuinness on to Callum McGregor and stopped him influencing the game. They've played with almost Matty Kenny out on the left, they've played with Marley Watkins through the middle, and then Daniel Armstrong pushed onto the right back or left back, sorry, and that allowed them then to get good positions and press Celtic a wee bit higher and stop them dominating the game early on. But Celtic having the ability and the team, you'll always know there will be periods in that first half where they will pin you back, and then it's about the quality. I think the big guy Lagerbielke, who stepped out of the back at times, didn't pick the right pass. There was gaping room at times for him to pick a pass for a runner going, and he elected to play it wide instead of playing it through the middle, and that's what and they got away with it, Kilmarnock, from that perspective. But overall, I think this game can go either way, and both managers will be doing their bit at half time just to try to, maybe Brendan Rodgers will be trying to get Celtic to settle down, keep passing that first, second touch, but Derek McGuinness will be almost getting the guys to think a wee bit about the defensive side, but still press high.
Yeah, I wonder if either side can make the breakthrough in the second 45 minutes. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0 in England, 4-0 Villa, 9 minutes stoppage time at the end of the second half as well, so that's a total of 18 minutes in that game. It's going to be a recurring theme throughout the course of the season. Hearts have beaten Partick Thistle by 4-0. Rory, you still playing?
Yes, we are still playing. I did try to come across to say there's been a red card. Liam Dick, the ball bounced in the air and Liam Dick swung his foot at it and caught Dylan Vente straight in the face. I think he's busted his nose. Liam Dick, he's a lad I know. He apologised straight away. He didn't mean to do. We didn't mean to do it. However, it was very difficult for the referee to give anything other than a red card with the way it played out. But it wasn't no intent. It wasn't malicious, but it did look very, very sore. Joe Newell is now lining up a free kick about 20 yards from goal, so it'll be interesting to see what comes of this. But we are still playing at the moment, Richard.
John McGinn been named man of the match in that win for what's going to be a win for Aston Villa against Everton. Good to see him starting the season in such fine form, although Hibs won't want to see him in fine form in the next couple of midweeks. Remember, Hibernian against Aston Villa on Wednesday. Tuesday it's Rangers against PSV Eindhoven. Thursday, Hearts against PAOK Salonika. Haken against Aberdeen. That's Don's playing at 6 o'clock. Hearts at 7:45. That Hearts game live on Sports Scene, and the Rangers PSV Eindhoven game also live on Sports Scene, the Champions League qualifier. And do listen out for the Sports Sound on Tuesday. It's on the radio, live on the radio. Rangers against PSV Eindhoven on Tuesday. Do listen out for the Scottish Football Podcast. That gets published every day, Monday to Friday, as the guys reflect on all the big talking points, the big news stories in Scottish football. Never any shortage of discussion points, and I know always a good listen, always very popular. So you can download that wherever you get your podcast. Certainly get it at BBC Sounds. Rory.
Yes, indeed. It's full time at Easter Road. It finishes Hibs 2, Raith Rovers 1 in a highly entertaining second half. First half had moments of quality, but no one really there to stick the ball in the back of the net. On to the second half we go, and it's all started very early. 48th minute, Ross Millen heads off the line from a Hanlon header. From the resultant corner, Millen was all over Hanlon at the back post. It looked a certain penalty to me. However, referee Nick Walsh waved play on. Then the best chance of the match for Raith Rovers to that point, Ross Millen's cross found Vaughan at the back post, and a combination of David Marshall on the post managed to keep the ball out. Straight up the other end, and Ewan got a goal from a Joe Newell corner. I must say, Ewan, he got sponsors man of the match here, and it was hard to argue with. However, I felt Joe Newell come on at half time and changed the match. Such an integral part of this Hibs side, in my opinion, and was the best player on the pitch for the time that he was on. Then on to the 69th minute came the equaliser. Good play from Lewis Vaughan, a little bit of mix-up from Lewis Stevenson, and the ball landed at the feet of Callum Smith, who slotted low and hard past David Marshall. However, a minute later they were behind again as Dylan Vente scored from an Ewan cutback. In the 87th minute there was a massive shout for handball up the other end in the Hibernian box as the ball looked to strike the hand of Lewis Miller. Again, Nick Walsh waved play on. There wasn't much to talk about between then and the final whistle, other than Liam Dick's red card, which I updated on you a couple of minutes ago, where he hit Dylan Vente in the face with a high boot, resulting in that straight red. Joe Newell did test the goalkeeper Dabrowski from the resulting free kick. However, the score did end here at Easter Road. Hibernian 2, Raith Rovers 1.
So Hibernian make it through. Adam Midlothian with that 4-0 win against Partick Thistle. Make it through. Got to say, Alan, it is shaping up to be, well, either way, it is going to be a heavyweight quarter-final lineup for the ViaPlay Cup. You've got 7 Premiership sides. There will be an 8th. Obviously, it'll be either Kilmarnock or Celtic.
Yeah, it's certainly looking like that, Richard. Well, it is that, I'm afraid. There's been no shocks at all. You normally get
which is
one.
a shame, isn't it? Because you look for that. Certainly by this stage of the tournament, you're still hoping 1 or 2 of the lower league sides are still there.
I thought, honestly, this game today at Tynecastle and the one at Easter Road, because of the exertions of Thursday night from both clubs, it would have been, more difficult. But this game here I was so disappointed in Partick Thistle. I was looking forward to seeing them, and they never laid a glove on Hearts. And if the gulf is getting bigger, which it certainly looked like today, it's going to be a struggle, to get these teams. This could be the norm, these teams getting through. You hope not, because you want teams to have a cup upset and a shock and get teams getting into the latter stages of cup competitions. But that's it. The League Cup is going to be all with the top flight, I'm afraid.
Alan, thanks to you and indeed to Rory. Still just the one name to be sorted out for that quarter-final lineup. The draw to come later. Half-time 0-0. Kilmarnock Celtic. Back to Cammy Bell, Pat Bonner and Al Lamont.
Thanks again, Richard. Sides just emerging back onto the field. Kilmarnock making their way out the narrowest tunnel in football, I think it must be. And Celtic already in place on the right-hand side of the pitch as we look at it from the back of the main stand. Still bathed in Ayrshire sunshine, I have to say. It's pretty warm this afternoon down these parts, even at the back of the stands, but it's usually a good few degrees chillier than elsewhere. But the players out in the sunshine, certainly that is perhaps playing an element in the rather slow game that we've had so far. But other goals to come in this second to find out as Celtic get us back underway as Greg Taylor, the former Killie finds O'Reilly looking to thread it through for Maida, who just took a poor touch. He might have been in on goal, had he been able to take a better one, might have been better taking it on his left foot as he came in from the left hand side, but it was off the right, behind for a goal kick, and it's goalless as we start this second period.
It was a good chance, wasn't it? You know, Matarelli getting himself in a good bit of space higher up the pitch, picked out, and then he opens up and plays that little ball. It was a wee bit probably too high, the ball, because it went sort of almost over the back of Kyogo, and I don't think Maeda was expecting it, and that's why he can almost miscontrolled, but he was in a really good position if he did get it under control.
No changes for either side, incidentally, at the interval. Still as you were in terms of both lineups, which I'll just talk you through. It's Will Dennis in goal for Kilmarnock. It's actually turned into a back four, as Packy pointed out early on in the game. For Killie, it's Lewis Mayo, Robbie Dees, Stuart Finlay and Corin Daba, with Danny Armstrong, David Watson, Brad Lyons, Kyle McGuinness in midfield, and Matty Kennedy and Marley Watkins up front. For Celtic, it's Joe Hart in goal, Anthony Ralston, Gustav Lagerbielke, Mike Nawrocki and Greg Taylor at the back, Callum McGregor, Matt O'Reilly, Odin Holm in midfield, and Lee Labada and Dyson Maida on either wing, with Kyogo up front for Celtic. It's Killie in possession, not for long though, as Lagerbielke picks up, but it's back now with Killie and Kyle McGuinness, right hand side, trying to get away from Taylor, and assistant, who's a yard from the incident, flags and says that was a free kick to Celtic, which is quickly taken by their captain Callum McGregor. Back to Joe Hart, a couple of minutes gone in this second half and still no goals.
Yeah, it looked a little bit soft to me. I think McGuinness put his hand on Callum McGregor, but he went over again. Probably experience from him taking the free kick in that position.
O'Reilly trying to find Abada, but it doesn't reach him, and Killie have it back, and it's Finlay who feeds it forward looking for Kennedy, but Nawrocki's there first for Celtic. It's back though with Ndaba, who had a big chance. He's given the ball away now, and it's Abada attacking the penalty area. Kyogo gets the shot away, it's blocked. Claims from some fans for a handball, but it was straight at the Kilmarnock defender. There was no way he was getting out of the way of it, even if it did hit his arm from a very close distance, and the chance is gone as Kilmarnock pick up in the middle of the park. It's Watson, plays it short to Lyons on the halfway line, out to Mayo on this near side, the Killie right, and back infield for Lyons, and then back once more with Mayo, who just tries to feed it down the right, looking for Watson, who will try and make life difficult there for Lagerbielke. He just sees it out of play for a Celtic goal kick. 3 minutes.
I was going to say young David Watson on the edge of the box again, doing his defensive duties. I've been impressed with him. You know, he's a young boy, he's only 18 years old, but he looks like a very important player for Kilmarnock, not just in this game, but I think for the future.
What he does, he picks up really good positions to win the ball back, make challenges, recycles the ball very well for Kilmarnock.
That's a good ball for Abada, right hand side, into the penalty area it goes. Mayo straight behind for a corner kick, not taking any chances. It was beyond Kyogo, but Maida was lurking, and Mayo just it behind for a Celtic corner, but that was a better move from Celtic.
Better run, better pass, getting in behind the defence. Just failed to pick out Kyogo, who had made the run across the near post, and he just didn't pick him out, which normally that's probably the ploy.
Home into the penalty area it comes, knocked away by the Kilmarnock defence. Celtic trying to keep it alive. McGregor though fouling Danny Armstrong, and that's going to be the first yellow card of the game, I reckon, for the Celtic captain, just blocking Danny Armstrong off there, and Alan Muir shows the yellow.
Yeah, again a clever foul from Callum McGregor there. Danny Armstrong looking to break away down the line, showing all his pace, and McGregor just uses his experience, takes a yellow card on the chin, but yeah, clever foul for me.
Celtic haven't lost a domestic cup tie since the Scottish Cup semi-final against Rangers in April of 2022, and they haven't lost in the League Cup since November of 2020 when they were beaten at home by Ross County. Some record, but Kilmarnock giving them a run for their money here this afternoon as Armstrong picks up right hand side up against Taylor, almost at the goal line, tries to take him on, breaks into the penalty area. Callum McGregor knocks it away, nodded down by Dees for Watson, though, who has a real maturity about his play despite his tender years. Maida gets back to put a good challenge in on both Kennedy, and then Armstrong is out for a throw-in to Kelly with 50 minutes on the clock. Still no goals. Taken by Mayo for Watson. Mayo has tried to get it back to Watson, but Holmes nicked it off him, and Holmes comes forward, and Daba puts a sliding challenge in and wins plenty of the ball, and Kelly have it back, and the Kelly fans like the endeavour shown there by Ndaba to win the ball back for his side as McGuinness chases the ball down the right hand side. He hasn't been able to keep it in though, and it will be a throw into Celtic. 5 minutes into the second period, and it's very much continuing along similar lines, very evenly balanced, and still 0-0.
Yeah, I think whoever gets that first goal will be delighted in this game, because I don't see a lot of goals in it. That could change as both teams get a bit more tired.
Well, Celtic have won the last 6 encounters between the sides, scoring 19 in those 6 games, including 13 on their last 3 visits here, but it certainly hasn't looked like they would rack up that kind of amount of goals this afternoon. Kilmarnock very well disciplined, organised. That's a lovely flick though from Kyogo. Holmes tries to get it back to him. Kyogo again shows a good turn of pace, goes down with a nudge there from Watkins, and he can't believe it, but he's going to go into the book for kicking the ball away, I think. And again, there wasn't a massive amount of contact there, but enough to send Kyogo down, and it's a free kick to Celtic in a pretty dangerous area left of the penalty area, and again, Kyogo probably just using his experience there to buy that free kick.
Yeah, and he gets in on sort of goal side of Marley Watkins, and I think that's, as soon as he got any kind of contact at all, he was going to go down, and it's a free kick in a very sort of almost dangerous position.
It was good play from Celtic again. That's when they've hurt Kilmarnock, the one-touch passes, the little ones round the corner. That's when they move the ball fast, they can hurt Kilmarnock. And again, Kyogo was on his run there, and for me, I think there was a little touch in it, and Marley Watkins knew what he was doing when he was kicking the ball away.
A little bit naive of Watkins though to make the contact in this position. Here comes the free kick. It's O'Reilly from the left hand side, away by Watson as far as Taylor midway inside the Killie half, tries to help it back into the box, and Daba clears, but Ralston will pick up right hand side. 7 minutes played in this second period, still 0-0 as Ralston tries to take Ndaba on right on the edge of the box on the right hand side, tries to get it across goal. Did it take a touch? It did. It'll be a Celtic corner over on the right hand side as they press for the opening goal. Matt O'Reilly across to take it left footed.
Well, we're too far away to know if it's got a touch or not.
Kilmarnock won't be happy about that one.
O'Reilly then left-footed, right-hand side, in-swinger to the near post, and Daba doing enough to just knock it to the edge of the box. Lyons helps it on over his head and up to the halfway line, and Ralston will just have to be careful here. Just gets enough on that to send it back to Joe Hart. Hart's kick-out pass isn't a particularly good one. It's picked up by Kennedy. The Killie fans wanted Matty Kennedy to shoot with Joe Hart well out of his area, but he was never set for the shot. But it is a throw into Kilmarnock, and in comes Kennedy, goes for goal. I think that came off Alan Muir, did it, and it's going to have to be a drop ball that came off the referee. It'll go back to Kilmarnock. I think it was, obviously Kennedy was the last to touch it, so even though perhaps they were going to lose possession, I think they'll get it back.
Yeah, he will.
Alan Muir just throws it to the feet of Danny Armstrong, and Kilmarnock can try and forge another attack. 8 minutes gone in the second period. It's Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0 as Dees has it, takes a chance against Maida but does well, and then plays it out to the right hand side for Mayo. Mayo just inside the Celtic half, closed down by Home. Lyons back the way to Dees on the left foot. He just knocks it forward, but it's not a good pass from Robbie Dees, and it's an easy take for Joe Hart at the edge of his box, and he immediately launches it over the halfway line looking for Abada, but it's going to be Stuart Finlay first to it. He'll just try and see it out. Eventually has to try and play it off Abada, which he does successfully. It will be a goal kick to Kilmarnock. 54 on the clock. Kilmarnock 0, Celtic 0, still all to play for.
Yeah, it was a decent kick from Joe Hart, obviously turning defence into attack with one lovely volley right up into the corner. I thought Finlay did okay, he did well. Initially I thought he was going to get caught on it, trying to let it run out of play, but he knocked it off Abada and got his goal kick.
Celtic have it through O'Reilly, flicks it down the right hand side. Abada with just a little nudge enough to send the Kilmarnock player to the deck, and it will be a free kick which is quickly taken by Finlay. Tries the big switch of play out to Armstrong on this Kilmarnock right, the near side for us. Armstrong trying to wriggle away from Taylor. Brilliant play by Watson to get away from home. Right hand side into the penalty area it comes. Knocked away though by Lagerbielke before Kilmarnock can make anything of it. But it's another instance of terrific play by the 18-year-old Watson. It's picked up now by Lyons. Lyons finds McGuinness. He goes for goal. Good save. Joe Hart might just have been drifting wide of the post, but he couldn't take any chances. McGuinness got a hold of it on the right boot, and it's a corner for Kilmarnock.
Yeah, really positive play and a great strike from McGuinness. Takes it early. Could have been just creeping wide, as you say, Al, but Joe Hart's taking absolutely no risks and makes sure he got a good hand on that to make sure it's a corner for Kilmarnock.
Right hand side to be taken by either Kennedy or Armstrong. Again, both of them over the set piece. Looks like Kennedy will take charge this time, right footed from the right hand side. Outswingers, a deep one to the back post, but cleared away by Nawrocki before Dees could get there. Kilmarnock have it back though. McGuinness gets it back to Dees in the angle of the box, left hand side. Back with McGuinness once more, clips it into the penalty. Out comes Joe Hart. Good two-fisted punch, high rather than far though. Helped away by Holm, and Kilmarnock just play it all the way back by Mayo to Will Dennis. 11 minutes to the second half gone, still no goals, but it's really difficult to pick who's going to make the breakthrough here, who's going to emerge with the advantage, as Greg Taylor was caught there as he played the ball forward by Danny Armstrong. The apology offered by Armstrong. It will be a free kick to Celtic, just 10 yards inside the Killie half. A little ticking off there from Alan Muir for Armstrong, and the free kick goes Celtic's way. 0-0.
You can see obviously the improvement in the Kilmarnock team though, over, so you know, compared to last year when these kind of games you kind of ran away from them. They're really in it today. They have a chance, and they're given as good as they're getting. No question about that. I think the speed and just the players he's brought in. Yeah, definitely.
Bit of blood, I think, for the Celtic medical team to deal with on the face of Taylor. So they're down to 10 just momentarily as Callum McGregor stands over this free kick just inside Killie territory, gets it back from O'Reilly and then plays it back the way to Lagerbielke, who squares it to Nawrocki, and now it's back with the Swede. Lagerbielke turns it back to his goalkeeper. Hasn't been inspiring stuff from Celtic thus far, as Hart goes long looking for Abada. I wonder how long before either manager goes to the bench and tries to change things. I guess Derek McInnes will be relatively happy with the way things are going, and just if his side could find the breakthrough and give them something else to cling on to. But they're performing really well against the treble winners from last season. And Daba takes the throw in down the left hand side. It goes high in the air off the head of McGuinness. Breaks away off Watkins down the left channel. It's a wonderful touch from Watkins, and he's up towards the edge of the penalty area. Not a massive amount of support, but he finds Armstrong edge of the area. Can he get the ball out of his feet to get the shot away? He's closed down by Maida. Might get the shot in on the right foot. Comes across, goal! It's tapped in! Kilmarnock in front, and it's Marley Watkins! The shot from Armstrong was heading wide of goal, but Marley Watkins turned it into the perfect assist as he taps in at the back post, and Kilmarnock are in front. It's Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant bit of play from Marley Watkins to start their move off down the left hand side, left the Celtic defence, and then put a great ball into Danny Armstrong, who had held his run to the 18-yard box. He gets a shot across, and there he is, Marley Watkins at the back post to tap in. And listen, Kilmarnock have started this second half brilliantly. You see Greg Taylor coming on the pitch. Was that a factor that Kilmarnock got that opportunity?
It was. Maeda was asked to go into almost a left back position, and I was just looking at it earlier. Obviously Daniel Armstrong was out in this sort of right hand side, and if they could get the ball out to him, I'm saying they have a chance in a 1v1. Eventually it did come to him, and when he almost set up Maeda, he kind of dropped the shoulder, went round him. I think he was trying to shot actually. It wasn't a cross, and he missed it, but he took him on in a 1v1, and that's what created the opportunity then for Watkins at the back post.
The composure from Marley Watkins out wide left for me at the start of the move, because he got his head up and he seen that Danny Armstrong actually held his run, and it was a brilliant pick out, as you say.
There's a check going on here now. Every goal is checked, but it's okay. The referee points to the centre centre circle, the goal stands, and so on our end, Kilmarnock do have that goal. I was just talking about a moment ago, something for them to really cling on to. They have a 1-goal advantage against the League Cup holders Celtic, and you have to say, you can't really argue that they don't deserve it.
No, absolutely. But I think it was a factor with Greg Taylor. You don't get Maeda going back into that left back position and doing probably what Greg Taylor would do in a 1v1 situation defensively, because he can almost square them up and then just drop the shoulder, got round him, the goal opened up and he got a shot away.
Yeah, I think it was a factor, but listen, Kilmarnock have absolutely capitalised on it. For me, Celtic haven't done enough in this game going forward. They've not created enough opportunities to hurt Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock have been really disciplined, organised, composed at times as well, and they've started the second half very, very well.
They've got a throw in midway inside their own half an hour still to play, plenty of time for a side of the calibre of Celtic to get themselves back into it, but Kilmarnock put themselves in the driving seat as they look to try and take their place in the quarter-final alongside the 7 others who've already booked a place. Stuart Finlay just asked Will Dennis to come and claim the through ball there, as he does eventually. Just over an hour played at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock won thanks to Marley Watkins' second goal of the season. His other came against Albion Rovers in the group stage. Never a prolific scorer, you would have to say, in his time in Scottish football previously, but I think he's been marvellous since he's come in to the Kilmarnock side, and like his teammates, absolute workhorse as well. Everyone putting in a shift out there for Kilmarnock, as they absolutely have to against a team of the quality of Celtic, and they've earned themselves a 1-goal advantage with just under half an hour to play. It's back with Joe Hart, who plays it out to the left hand side to Taylor, who's obviously back on the park now. He plays it once more to Joe Hart inside his 6-yard box, takes a touch, clips it away to the right hand side, won by Ndaba, and McGuinness was going to be offside, so he couldn't go for it, and it's all the way through to Joe Hart. But Derek McInnes down there in his technical area, his game plan is working to absolute perfection, as it did against Rangers, and like they did against Rangers as well. They managed to get themselves a goal in front.
There's a good mentality to Kilmarnock. You know, they are pressing high, they're not allowing Celtic to dominate, and Celtic are struggling just to get a control and a grip on this game.
Abada into the penalty. It's a poor cross from the young Israeli, though, right into the gloves of Will Dennis, and that'll suit Kelly down to the ground as Brendan Rodgers ponders away back into the game. The whistle comes actually from the Celtic manager, and it's David Turnbull, I think, is getting a call, maybe Yang as well. And we'll see what comes of that. A couple of changes potentially for Celtic as they look to get back on level terms. They've got a free kick midway inside their own half.
For me, touching on Kilmarnock, listen, there's a real understanding in Derek McInnes' side this season of what's expected, the work rate as well. Every single play, you touched on it, Al, they work their socks off all game, and they've made Celtic work for the game today. So listen, for me, they're in a really good position. They just need to keep concentrating.
Lyons goes down, but the decision goes Celtic's way as David Turnbull gets himself stripped.
Yeah, Celtic needed a little bit of leadership on that pitch now. Obviously, we've got two youngish centre halves who have just come to the club. They're not expecting them to be the leaders. Callum will have to almost, and can almost man-mark Callum today, so he hasn't had a huge influence in the game. But they're desperate for somebody to step up and score that goal to get him back into this game.
Yang just getting a word of advice here from his manager before he comes on the park. David Turnbull also is about to come on, so a double change, and one of the players coming off is young Odin Holm, Norwegian in his first start. Has been relatively quiet, certainly hasn't stood out, but decent enough performance from the young man. And also coming off is Liel Abada, who will be replaced on the flank by Korean Yang, making his third appearance for the club. He's come on in the 2 league games so far, and this is his chance in the closing 25 minutes here to try and make an impression and get Celtic back into the game. So Kilmarnock throwing over on the far side, about 15 yards away from the corner flag on the Killie left. It's back with Ndaba now, angle of the box. tries to get the cross in, it'll break the way of Kennedy, curls it towards the back post. That's a dangerous ball, but evades everyone and is behind for a goal kick as Hart and Danny Armstrong come together as Hart tried to get the ball back for a goal kick and just barged into the little winger. That was a bit of a mismatch, and it will be a goal kick anyway to Celtic. 1-0 Kilmarnock lead with 65 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, another dangerous ball in from Matty Kennedy, just gets onto his right foot, whips it in, and Danny Armstrong just couldn't get in at the back post, but more intent from Kilmarnock there.
Yeah, pressing Celtic really high from the goal kick, but Celtic play their way out of danger. That's a poor challenge going in there from McGuinness, but Celtic play on with the advantage. Turnbull couldn't find the pass though, and he's given the ball away in the middle of the park to Armstrong. He's caught in possession by Taylor. Now it's Yang, he's robbed though, and Kelly have it back once more. They've played down the right by Mayo, out of play, and the Celtic fans trying to get behind their side and back them and help them back into the game. Kilmarnock supporters absolutely loving what they're seeing at the start of this season under Derek McInnes. A lot of people tipping them for at least a challenge for a top six place, and on the evidence of the first 7 games of the season, you would have to say that looks like a decent bet.
Yeah, but really cup tie at the moment, isn't it? Kilmarnock have got that goal. They're working very, very hard as a unit. Celtic desperate to get up the pitch. They haven't been able to get up the pitch and create the opportunities to get back into this game. Everything's played in their own half at the moment.
Yang is incidentally playing on the left-hand side. Dyson Maida's gone out to the right for Celtic, which is where Abada had been patrolling prior to being replaced. Here's McGregor, middle of the park, plays it forwards for Kyogo. Wonderful little flick, and he's taken out of play there by Stuart Finlay. That's an obvious yellow card. It's just brilliant play from Kyogo. Celtic looking to get the game moving again, but Alan Muir, the referee, will pull that back. Wants the free kick taken from the correct place first of all, and once he's ready, having shown the yellow card, again Celtic trying to take the free kick, and again Alan Muir says, I'm not quite ready, I've just shown the yellow card, I have to note it in my notebook, and then we'll get moving once more. But Celtic frustrated, trying to get on level terms, and Callum McGregor about to take the free kick midway inside the Killie half. 20 Kilmarnock players behind the ball as McGregor gets a 1-2 off Maida and plays it to Ralston. Ralston has to go back the way to Nawrocki. He plays it square to Lagerbielke, well inside. Kilmarnock has a poor pass though from the young defender, and it's cleared away by Mayo. Killie sitting deep just now. They probably want to just try and get themselves up the park. They don't want to sit too deep against this Celtic side if it can be avoided. Here's Yang showing good footwork, but eventually dispossessed by Watson. Celtic have the throw in, quickly taken by Taylor. Everything Celtic do is now that little bit more urgent as Kyogo picks up, tries to flip it on for O'Reilly. That one doesn't come off for the Japanese player as Ralston is late there in the challenge in the middle of the park. It was an aerial battle and he was just overly physical and a bit late, and he's shown a yellow card as well, and Kilmarnock will get a free kick, and just about a quarter of the game to go. It's Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, I don't see where Celtic's going to get the goal from at the moment. I know they've got good technical players and that, but they're not creating the chances. Normally they'll be creating 2 or 3 chances, and maybe a goalkeeper making a save, or they're trying to get it on, but they're not actually able to create it at the moment. That's the problem.
No, I think what they're doing, Packy, is they're allowing Kilmarnock to get set up, and Kilmarnock are quite comfortable with Celtic playing in front of them where they can see the ball, and them midfield runs haven't happened this half yet that were hurting Kilmarnock in the first half, and I don't know if that's down to Derek McInnes obviously feeding the message in at half time to say, look, they're one of our biggest problems, but they've nullified Celtic in every single way so far.
Throw into Killie over in the far side in the halfway line more or less, and certainly Kilmarnock at this juncture taking their time over every dead ball situation. And Daba does take the throw in though, gets it back from Lyons, then lofts it forwards. Up goes Watkins, the goal scorer, can't keep it though. Turnbull has it back for Celtic, just midway inside his own half. Spins and plays it out to the left hand side for Taylor. Yang made the run, Taylor played the ball behind him, but Yang's done really well to keep a hold of the ball and plays it back to Greg Taylor. Now it's Lagerbielke, centre back for Celtic, playing it short for his new partner Nawrocki. McGregor trying to get on the ball to influence the game, but as Parky has pointed out, Kyle McGuinness particularly has just sat on him more or less all game and not allowed him to dictate the play as he is so capable of doing when allowed the time and space. And Celtic have really struggled to create, particularly in the second half.
Yeah, and they're playing little balls forward and then it's coming straight back again. Somebody's got to get opened up and turn.
Here's Greg Taylor though, left hand side, coming forward, asks Yang to step into the penalty area, can't quite bring it under control, and Kilmarnock able to clear, and it's up with Lagerbielke on the halfway line, closed down. Nawrocki then turns it back to Lagerbielke, and now McGregor into the feet of O'Reilly. Celtic struggling to find the fluidity in their play that we're so accustomed to in the last couple of years in particular, as Greg Taylor though picks up and moves into the Kilmarnock half. O'Reilly now, centre circle, McGregor out to the left hand side for Yang, trying to isolate Lewis Mayo, running at him left then right, and he's just gone over. It looks like he's maybe hurt himself here. Oh, that could be nasty. He just went down, he seemed to lose his footing, and he's just holding his face. I really hope this is not. It's one of those ones that he goes down and I just wonder, is it the knee?
He's got a bit of a bang in the face, I think. It was a trailing hand. There was nothing malicious in it whatsoever. He's obviously trying to take Lewis Mayo on, and it just didn't. He just a trailing hand that caught him.
Yeah,
in the
he's
face.
fine. I thought he'd gone down without any contact, and then maybe his knee. You know, sometimes when there's no contact and it's an ACL or something like that. But actually, as you say, Packy, there maybe was a little bit of contact with the face, and they went down clutching that, and the home fans didn't like it, and they got nothing for it, and it's out for a Celtic throw-in. And again, they want to do it quickly. Kilmarnock have still got a player receiving treatment. Alan Muir's indicating he is stopping his watch every time. He's taking note at least of these stoppages, and we'll add it on at the end. But Celtic, who are in a hurry with less than 19 minutes remaining of the match, and they trail by a goal to nil. Here is Nawrocki out to the right hand side for Ralston, back in field for Turnbull, who started the season pretty well for Celtic, back in favour, having been a substitute more often than not under Ange Postecoglou. Forward it goes from Nawrocki. That's a good ball for Maida, edge of the penalty, right hand side, left foot leaves it there for Turnbull. He just tries to dink it over the top, doesn't get through. McGuinness, brilliant ball winning from him. He goes down as another excellent signing for Kilmarnock. Out of play over on the far side for a Kilmarnock throw. And Derek McInnes pointed out, I mentioned this in the first game, if they can keep Kyle McGuinness fit, then he's a quality of player that Derek McInnes admitted he probably wouldn't have got if he hadn't had the injury problems he's had.
Yeah, but listen, he can come here, and Derek McInnes is a manager that'll put his arm around him, make him feel very special, and that's what Kyle McGuinness needs after such a horrible spell in his career where he's picked up injury after injury. He needs a run of games and a good team and a manager who can really trust him, and I think he has that in Derek McInnes, and you see that in his performance today. He's been very, very effective and really good quality he brings to Kilmarnock.
Kyle Vassell about to come on for the closing stages of the game. I think Marley Watkins, who was receiving treatment just a few moments ago, is the player who's going to be replaced as the free kick goes Celtic's way for Watkins. Foul on Kyogo. Derek McInnes keen to get Kyle Vassell on, but Celtic have taken the free kick quickly, and it's Yang booed by the home fans. He's fouled that time by Mayo, and it will be a Celtic free kick. Danny Armstrong trying to prevent that being taken quickly, and Alan Muir's quickly across to say less of that, as Vassell will come on, and it will indeed be Marley Watkins, who, as things stand, is the match winner. It's certainly the difference between the sides just now, tapping in at the back post to split the sides, and it's been a wonderful performance from Marley Watkins this afternoon.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. Again, that goal sums up his work rate, and again the quality he brings to Kilmarnock. A great pick-up for Danny Armstrong, and then sniffing in at the back post to get his goal. But again, they're bringing on another very strong physical striker who can get about the pitch, in Kyle Vassell. So it's a good change for Kilmarnock.
Change 2 for Celtic was Sead Haksabanovic replacing Matt O'Reilly. Paggy, what do you make of that switch?
Yeah, well, he'll play probably in a more forward position. I think if I look at Matt O'Reilly today, he's kind of almost played alongside Callum McGregor in the middle of the pitch. I think they need to get bodies higher up the pitch and get into those little spaces.
Turnbull free kick from the left-hand side into the box, off the head of McGuinness. That will go behind for a Celtic corner out on the right-hand side as they press for a leveller. Haksabanovic on for his first appearance of the season, actually.
Yeah, he's got quality, Haksabanovic, there's no question about it. And they'll be desperate for him to come good in this game because 1-0 down.
Corner kicked in from the right-hand side. Turnbull's outswinger headed high in the air by Finlay. Haksabanovic gets it back into the box, away by McGuinness, picked up by Armstrong, closed down by Yang, and he manages to keep the ball in play. Finds Haksabanovic, left-hand side for Celtic as they look for a goal to make it one each. Taylor now into the box. Not a bad ball, but it's flicked on by a Kilmarnock player. Kyogo misses his kick, and it'll come to McGuinness, who's able to clear. Well, you wouldn't see that very often. A collector's item from Kyogo, completely missing the ball as he tried to sweep it into the net. And Kilmarnock breathe again at the back. 15 to play. Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 0. But Celtic come again. It's Haksabanovic onto the end of Taylor's pass on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Back it goes to Taylor once more. About 30 from goal. Out to Yang on the left-hand side. Cross comes Watson, but he can't stop the cross coming in. Daba might have left that if he'd got the shout. He didn't know there was no Celtic player behind him, and he puts his head on it, and it's out for a throw-in over on the far side. A Celtic throw-in to come.
Yeah, Celtic just up in the tempo a little bit now and forcing Kilmarnock back into that defensive organisation inside their box.
And here they come down the right-hand side, and it's Ralston. Not a bad delivery. Comes off Dees, claims for a handball inside the penalty area from the fans behind Will Dennis's goal. VAR is in operation, and we'll have a look at that as Turnbull, though, picks up, finds Haksabanovic. Brilliant challenge by Watson, sliding in to clear that and almost release Vassell, as well as Nawrocki now picks up, comes forward from the back. Can't find a way past Ndaba though, and now it's Vassell taking over midway inside his own half, just trying to get Kilmarnock up the park. They need someone to do that just now. Now it's Kennedy, if he can switch the ball, or almost finds McGuinness actually, but it's just too heavy with the pass, and it's through for Joe Hart. It's non-stop action right now as Celtic are desperate for a goal that at worst take this tie into extra time. At 13 to play, it's Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 0.
There's a little opportunity there for Kilmarnock on the breakaway. I think they were outnumbered, Celtic, and it was just an overhit pass from Matty Kennedy. Looked a little bit a tired pass from him, and Kyle McGuinness couldn't get on the end of it.
Filled by Watson, and Haksabanovic then kicks the ball away, and he's booked by Alan Muir, a rather cheap booking for the teenager. As Celtic get things moving. Haksabanovic now up towards the edge of the penalty area. Now Yang into the feet of Maida, back to goal, 25 yards out. Can't get past Ndaba again, who's been excellent. Just plays it up to the halfway line, nodded down by Nawrocki. Turnbull then plays it back to Lagerbielke, and out to the left-hand side for Taylor to cross the halfway line. Forward it goes, and Ndaba again is the killy player in the way. And then Armstrong puts his head down, he's caught there by Taylor, and then goes to the ground clutching his head, and again he definitely was caught, but he'll be staying down here and taking as much time over this as he possibly can. Free kick to Kilmarnock just inside their own half, and with 12 minutes left on the clock, it's Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it was slack play from Greg Taylor, gave a pass into the midfield that went to absolutely nobody, and then Danny Armstrong just manages to go up for the challenge and a high boot from Greg, and gives away the free kick. Exactly what Kilmarnock want, because there was some sustained pressure there from Celtic. They were having to defend the box, and they were doing that very, very well, and they'll just try and take the sting out of the game at the moment.
Very much so. Armstrong will be fine though.
Can't remember the goalkeeper having too many saves.
No.
Will Dennis in the Kilmarnock goal. That's the disappointing thing, I think, from Celtic's perspective today.
Mayo with a free kick from just inside his own half into the penalty area, looking for Vassell, but headed away by Nawrocki. Callum McGregor picks up, gets out to the left-hand side. Yang just tries to play it beyond Mayo, comes off the full-back though, and out for a throw-in to Celtic. Rory McKenzie is stripped and ready to come on as soon as Derek McInnes gives him the nod, as Yang nudges it back to Taylor. Nawrocki now midway inside his own half, plays it to his left for Lagerbielke. 11 to play, 1-0 Killie. Yang clips it forward. Watson's there, just gets something on it, then gets the second ball as well. Yang though steps in but can't keep it. Lagerbielke, it's a poor ball. Ralston will have to battle for that one. Kennedy's there making life difficult for him. Ralston stayed down, Kilmarnock come forward. Vassell looking to get on the end of that, but it's good defending in the end from Lagerbielke, holding off Kyle Vassell as Anthony Ralston picks himself up. Alan Muir had stopped play to just see if Anthony Ralston needed any treatment. He doesn't, and it will be back with Joe Hart as Kilmarnock prepare to make a double change. Rory McKenzie and Liam Donnelly are the players who are going to come on as they try to see this one out with their side leading by a goal to nil. Danny Armstrong will be one of the players to make way. Rory McKenzie replacing him. And Liam Donnelly coming on for Kyle McGuinness by the looks of it.
Yeah, two very experienced players coming on. Rory McKenzie's been around this club all his life, and of course Donnelly coming on also in the middle of the pitch. And the two players going off has worked really, really hard.
375th appearance for Kilmarnock today for Rory McKenzie, longest serving player by some distance, as Celtic have it. 10 minutes left, less than, plus injury time of course, of which there'll be a decent chunk you would imagine. And it's Celtic in possession at the back. Lagerbielke up to the halfway line for Yang. Yang spins away from Mayo, tries to find Kyogo. In steps Dees. Maida picks up inside the penalty area. Can he get the shot away? He's back into the middle. Kyogo. Yang over the top. And it's out for a corner. What a challenge. What a challenge in there. It's an incredible bit of defending, I think, by Brad Lyons, who just threw himself in there and just forced Yang's shot over the crossbar. Brilliant block by the midfielder.
That was a great bit of passing between Celtic players. Eventually Yang coming in. Here's a corner.
Corner does come in, away by Mayo. Vassell picks up, just knocks it beyond Haksabanovic. Comes out to the right hand side. Kyle Vassell with the armband now. As Kilmarnock look to try and hit them on the break. It's forward for Lyons. Lyons has got McKenzie inside him. Can he stay onside? Lyons just trying to hold it up to keep McKenzie onside. McKenzie just couldn't hold his line. And Kilmarnock's counter just rather falters, but it's still got possession. But surely a second Killie goal would kill Celtic off. But here's Ndaba, left hand side. It's a deep cross, far too deep for his teammates, and Greg Taylor will be able to pick up. But just going back to that Brad Lyons challenge to deny Yang, I mean, what a chance it was, but brilliant defending.
It was a fantastic tackle just to put him off, almost just at the nick of time. He was about 7-8 yards out when you just see it going to bury in the back of the net, and just got the tackle in to deflect it away for the corner.
And then at the other end there was a counter on, and Rory McKenzie just couldn't stay onside, and Lyons couldn't release him as a result of that. Kyogo tries the pass forward, it's intercepted though, and Killie clear the lines, and then good play from Vassell, just holding it up, and he's eventually fouled by Lagerbielke, and that'll buy Kilmarnock another few precious seconds as they try and get this clock to tick down. 7 and a bit minutes left of the 90, and it's still Kilmarnock 1 thanks to Marley Watkins' goal, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it was a really experienced play from Vassell, but inexperienced defender, just very naive. Vassell just feels him and then goes over, buys the free kick, kills the game. Again, Kilmarnock had the opportunity on the counter attack. I think Rory McKenzie ended up coming too close and being too narrow, so the ball couldn't be played through from Brad Lyons. But yeah, listen, Kilmarnock are in control at the moment. They just need to keep their concentration. Hopefully, as I say, they've got a good man up front. Vassell, very strong, willing runner to get them up the pitch as well.
Looked like he'd run the ball out of play there, but he somehow managed to keep possession, and the assistant was right on the spot to see that it stayed in firmly, and he's bought his side. I'm not sure if it was a corner or I guess a throw-in right down at the corner flag. 6.5 minutes of the 90 left, and
He's given a corner. He's obviously given a corner. I thought it was a throw-in, but it's a corner.
Yep, it is indeed, and it's going to be taken by Matty Kennedy from the right-hand side, right-footed, as Kilmarnock look to try and give themselves a 2-goal cushion here. In it comes, a good ball, and it's half cleared, and Maida's nicked it away from Donnelly and begins the counter. Yang is free on his left hand side. It was a dreadful attempt at a crossfield ball from Maida, and it goes all the way through to Will Dennis, and that was a real opportunity for Celtic to break on Kelly there, and Maida just fluffing his lines at a really important moment.
What a chance he could have carried it on himself. I think he probably ran out of legs. He's worked hard, obviously, doing that in the heat, probably in the sun, and everything's got to him a bit, but he tried that crossfield pass and just didn't execute it properly at all, and they had a really good chance, Celtic, and they've had very few chances in the second half. That was one of them.
There's Yang, who's had the best of them in the second period. Maida manages to keep it in. Finlay, though, clears as Maida knocks it into the box. 5 left. Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 0 in the final League Cup second round tie. Already into the hat yesterday, Aberdeen, Rangers, Ross County, Livingston and St Mirren. Hearts and Hibs joining them over the course of the afternoon. Can Kilmarnock oust the cup holders and hold on to this 1-goal advantage they've established in the game here?
There's just not been enough quality from Celtic going forward, as we spoke about before. That the Kilmarnock goalkeeper hasn't really had too many saves to make. That block there from Brad Lyons is probably the closest Celtic have got to a goal in the second half.
Kelly coming forward. Donnelly plays the header though off Watson. Thumping into the challenge there with Lagerbielke, and Lagerbielke comes off second best. Liam Donnelly wasn't hanging back there. I think he's hurt himself as well. He didn't want to initially go down, but eventually having to. And I wonder if he'll need some treatment. That was a really jarring challenge, that one. Neither player pulling out of that's for sure. 1-0 Kelly with 4 to play as the Kelly physio comes on to treat Liam Donnelly.
Yeah, Celtic just, as you say, Cammy, in the second half, they haven't really been high enough up the pitch or in control of the game to make and create enough chances to get this goal back. I think that was the only chance, the one that, and it was good interplay, good movement, good passing to get Yang into the position. He's been a wee bit of a threat since he's come on, Yang. But
I think he's brought a little bit of a spark to Celtic, but definitely not enough. I think when Celtic today have hurt Kilmarnock, it's been that intricate, fast passing, one-touch passing. We've not seen enough of it throughout the 90 minutes so far, and I've been a little bit disappointed from them, from what they've actually brought to the game. But take nothing away from Kilmarnock, because they've been so disciplined and worked really, really hard and made it difficult for Celtic to get any rhythm within this game.
Having said that, I don't think anyone in Kilmarnock colours, be the players, management, supporters, will be writing Celtic off, because I think we've seen so many times over the years that Celtic capable of striking late, whether it be equalisers, winners or whatever, and they're more than capable of doing that again this afternoon as Celtic have the ball through Haksabanovic midway inside the Kelly half, trailing by a goal to 0, but out it goes to Yang, left hand side up against Mayo, trying to trick his way by him. Haksabanovic once more, Taylor's in lots of room, left hand side, the ball goes to him, claims for handball as the cross came in and it came off the Kilmarnock player Matty Kennedy as he dived to try and block the cross. Nothing given by the referee as the throw-in's taken. Turnbull lays it off to Haksabanovic inside the box. He goes down, howling for a penalty at the Celtic fans behind the goal. But again, Alan Muir is unmoved. Celtic come forward on the right-hand side now. It's Ralston trying to get into the box. Not a bad ball to the back post, away by Mayo. Yang trying to keep it alive, but it's Watson who gets it clear up towards Vassell. Vassell holds on to it and lets it drop to McKenzie. 2 minutes to play of the 90. McKenzie now looking for options ahead of him, and then slides Lagerbielke to knock it out of play.
Yeah, that was a dive from Haksabanovic on the edge of the box. There was no way it was a penalty. He's obviously going to the referee now, protesting, but definitely dive for me.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. The way that he threw himself forward, it looked a dive, a very desperate dive as well at that.
All eyes on the fourth official in the next few moments to see how long is going to be added on. We've got a minute and a half of the regulation 90. Ewan Anderson down there, the fourth official, will have the boards up in the next minute or so as Celtic still look for a way back into the game. It's David Turnbull on the right hand side, just inside the Killie half. 1-0 to the home side. Back the way Celtic go. Callum McGregor, who really hasn't been anywhere near as influential as he often is in a Celtic jersey. Here's Yang now, left hand side, up against Mayo. Haksabanovic, Taylor is inside the penalty if he can get onto that, but across comes Dees, out for a Celtic corner. He thought he played it off Taylor, but the referee didn't, and it will be a Celtic corner into the final minute of the 90, with Celtic looking for a leveller to take this one into extra time. It's going to be Turnbull to take from the left hand side, right footed, swings it into the 6-yard box. Comes off the head, I think, of Lagerbielke, but going the wrong direction, and Killie managed to clear the lines up over the halfway line. As a player down, it's Corey and Daba, and the referee's going to stop play, much to the dismay of the Celtic fans behind that goal of Will Dennis, and he's taking a sore one in there, and it'll be further treatment required as Kilmarnock just try and run the clock down. Ewan Anderson's got the board in his hand. Packy, what's your guess? 6?
Yeah, I think there will be a little bit of stoppage. If we go by the Women's World Cup, wow. 13 minutes today, end up 15 minutes, but it won't be that. 7 minutes.
There we go. 7 minutes, and we are just into that right now. So 7 minutes for Kilmarnock to hold on, 7 minutes for Celtic to find at least an equaliser. It would give us another 30 here. Not sure my heart can stand it. Maida back to McGregor. Maida once more, right hand side for Celtic, looks for the 1-2 with Ralston. He'll get there, clips it back. Chance there, but it's a brilliant diving clearance there as Kilmarnock put their bodies on the line and desperately try to hold on to this advantage that they've got. It's been another fabulous performance regardless of the outcome at the end. Kilmarnock have again done themselves proud, but they will want it to be a meaningful display, one that takes them into the next round. Beaten by Celtic in the semi-final of this competition last season, and on the brink of putting them out. The cup holders, as Brad Lyons just tries to hold off Haksabanovic. He does do, he sees it out for a goal kick, and Kilmarnock and their supporters absolutely loving what they're seeing so far this afternoon.
Yeah, I think that's been a failing on Celtic today, and that they haven't been able to get balls into players who can get on the half turn and play forward. Everything has gone in, come back again and square, and that's been a disappointment, whether that's down to the guys passing the ball, whether it's the players ahead of the ball not picking up the right positions and the movement wasn't quite there. But Kilmarnock, as you rightly say, Cammy, has done an extraordinary job in organising the defensive side of it.
Watson trying to come forward for Kilmarnock. He's halted by Lagerbielke. Celtic have it back midway inside their own half. Ralston clips it over the top. He's looking for Maida. It's an ambitious ball. Finley's there first, and he knocks it back over the halfway line. Ralston gets his head to it into the centre circle, brought under control by Haksabanovic. 2 minutes gone of the 7 of injury time. Still 1-0 Kilmarnock lead. Yang slips but gets himself back on his feet and keeps possession. Has it gone out of play? Derek McInnes is right on the touchline claiming it did, but Greg Taylor kept it in, thought the officials. Here it is, Nawrocki coming forward, slides it through looking for Kyogo, but there's Dees making sure the ball doesn't get through, and it's up towards Vassell, who seems to have hurt himself in trying to bring that under control, and the ball's out for a throw-in over on the far side, and Vassell just moving a little bit gingerly there. Kilmarnock won't want to have to replace the replacement. It's actually a Celtic free kick which is taken short to Callum McGregor, and now in field to Taylor, who comes forward in a central area. Haksabanovic now just left of centre, midway inside the Killie half, looking for a way beyond Brad Lyons. Still Haksabanovic up towards the edge of the box, out to the left for Taylor, back to Haksabanovic, 30 yards from goal, left of centre. Still Lyons sticking to him. He has to go back the way to Lagerbielke, who gets it back once more from Nawrocki. Lagerbielke again 1-2 with Haksabanovic. Killie's sitting very, very deep. Even Vassell is in a deep area. Ball's teased into the area, away by Finlay, 3 minutes played of the 7. Kyogo now trying to instigate something for Celtic, finds Haksabanovic. Mayo gets himself in there. Oh, he goes down, and that could be a penalty. Now the referee's pointed for a goal kick as Haksabanovic went to ground. It looked to me as though Mayo clipped him and forced him to the deck, and VAR will almost certainly, well, they will definitely have a look at it. Will they ask Alan Muir to come and have another look at his screen? For me, there was contact.
If it's not a penalty, he should be booked for diving. Again, it's one or the other. I think the referee needs to make a decision there. He can't just dismiss it. I think it did look as if there might have been contact, but if there's not, it's a dive.
Packy?
Yeah, well, listen, it was an exaggerated dive, and obviously he has to.
Referee's waving
right,
on.
That's the second dive he's had, so he's probably has to be booked. But VAR's looked at it. Referee gave the goal kick, but he went down dramatically, didn't he?
Very dramatic.
I thought Lewis Mayo just nicked him as he went by, but clearly Don Robertson in the VAR room has had a close look at it. That's brilliant play from Vassell down the right hand side, and he's one inside a corner. It's absolutely superb play to move away, firstly from Taylor, and then the sliding challenge came in from Lagerbielke to knock it behind for a corner. But that's exactly what Kilmarnock need right now.
Yeah, brilliant from Kyle Vassell. Just a turn of pace, which he has got, and he took on the defender exactly what he wanted. A Celtic defender sliding in, getting a corner off it, and it'll take a long time to get this one in the box. It won't come in the box. I'm pretty sure Kyle Vassell will go and use all his strength out there to hold it in the corner.
Yeah, Matty Kennedy to take, but you would imagine they will try and keep it in this corner as long as possible. It is just nudged to Vassell. Vassell holding it up in the corner, battling away there. Taylor manages to get it clear though, plays it down the left hand side. Mayo in first, knocks it back forward. Taylor heads it away at the edge of his own penalty area. Turnbull plays it to Nawrocki at the edge of his box. Ball forwards cut out by McKenzie. He thought he was fouled. The play is allowed to continue. Celtic come forward looking for an equaliser late on in injury time. Out to the right hand side, it's Yang, now Ralston, into the box it comes, and it's cleared away by Mayo before Haksabanovic can get there. Less than 2 minutes of stoppage time left to play. Celtic still looking for a equaliser late in this game. Turnbull for Nawrocki. Can Kilmarnock hang on? Can Celtic force injury extra time? It's McGregor, clipped on by Taylor, but he can't get away from McKennedy, and Kilmarnock just play it over the halfway line. No players up there to keep it for them, and Joe Hart comes well out of his box and just plays it to Lagerbielke. Out to Yang, left hand side, up against Mayo, who's done brilliantly to win it back off him. Just tries to play it down the line. He hasn't managed to do that though, and possession back with Celtic in the shape of Turnbull. Less than a minute of the 90 left. It's now or never for the defending League Cup holders. Cleared away again by Kilmarnock defence though.
That's the problem for Celtic. Also, they've no other option but just to play ball in round feet, trying to get a little penalty, get the ball into the box.
Yeah, it's been too predictable for me when they're going forward. They've not tried anything different. It's not worked all game, and they've not tried anything different, so it has been disappointing.
Celtic have it, but they're still at the halfway line. They've got 30 seconds to go. Is there to be late drama here at Rugby Park, or is the drama going to come in the shape of a cup shot? I think the Kilmarnock fans think it's all over, but it's not. It's a throw-in, and the Kilmarnock fans thought that was the full-time whistle.
And there's somebody running on the pitch, young lad.
I think he's a photographer. He thinks it's all over.
It's all over too.
Brilliant.
It's got a throw-in to Celtic. They've still got a few seconds to try and get an equaliser, but they're going back the way. Alan Muir, all eyes on him, the referee. The Kilmarnock fans desperate for the full-time whistle. Kyogo now trying to inspire his side from a deep area. Liam Donnelly in front of him. He has to go back the way to Lagerbielke. We're over the 7 minutes as he plays it out to the right-hand side. Ralston keeps it in. Back to Nawrocki. Now it's Haksabanovic. Right-hand side. Can Celtic somehow get the ball into the box and find a leveller? It's McGregor out to Kyogo. 25 yards from goal. Lofts it in. Away by Dees. Now it's all over, and Kilmarnock have done it. What a result, what a performance from Derek McInnes' side, and for the second time in 3 games they have beaten one of the old firm. But this is a huge scalp, and now the photographer of Kilmarnock can run on the pitch and take the celebration pictures. He was a little bit early in his celebrations a moment ago, but now the Killie fans can really enjoy the moment. Celtic troop off, having lost their crown. It was a wonderful performance from the home side, thoroughly deserved in the end. The goal, when it came, was from Marley Watkins as he tapped in just before the hour mark. Danny Armstrong's shot was going to head wide, but there was Watkins at the back post to tap into the empty net, and Celtic couldn't respond. The best chance that came for the equaliser failed to substitute Yang, but Brad Lyons, typifying the Kilmarnock performance, threw himself in the line of fire to direct the ball over the top, and Celtic couldn't produce an equaliser. And so it's Kilmarnock who take the place in the last 8 of the competition, and the celebrations around Rugby Park can really kick off now. What an afternoon. It finished at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock 1, Celtic 0.
The Scottish League Cup.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.